Good morning. Decided to start it early because I have nothing else to do. Morning, TG. Morning, Kevin. And good morning, Wes. So basically, I'm just leaving the chat open. I don't really have anything to talk about, but I wanted to give people a place to chit-chat. I'm going to put the link up just in case anybody wants to come on and chit-chat on the panel. And I remembered without Tina being here to remind me. See that? It's a miracle. Hey, Willow.
Morning, sweetie.
Morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right.
That's good.
Morning, Kevin. I'm trying to trim my toenail.
Did you get any more news about Robin last night, or are we still waiting?
No, I was going to ask you the same thing.
No. That's the first thing I checked when I woke up was my messages to see if anybody had let me know, but...
Yeah, I was running blank, too.
They probably don't have test results back.
Yeah, they probably just don't have answers.
Yep.
It was late enough in the evening.
Yeah.
That they're probably not able to really do a whole lot until today unless it was emergent. And
hey, Chrissy. Good morning.
We're just where we're falling on a weekend.
Right.
And you don't have morning shows and stuff.
I know when I've gone into the hospital, if it's after a normal type of business hour, a lot of scans and tests can't be done because those people have already left. They don't have, a lot of the time, they don't have 24-hour staff for certain things, so...
Yeah.
Like they had a hell of a time trying to put an IV in me that one time.
Mm-hmm.
So many people tried. I looked like I had been beaten by a baseball bat on my arms. I'm like, what are you people doing? I'm like, call an anesthesiologist. They can always find a vein, you know? And they were like, well, we have our IV specialist team, but they're not here until 8 o'clock in the morning. I was like, then stop stabbing me and I'll wait until 8 o'clock in the morning. And about 9 o'clock in the morning, this guy comes in with this small little, like an ultrasound machine. It was just this tiny little thing. And he scanned my arm and he goes, there it is. And bam, it was in. And I'm like, thank you.
Yep.
I'm like, you guys need to have specialists on 24/7. People need IVs at all hours. He goes, yeah, I know. So.
Yeah, they've used that thing on me too. It's an infrared kind of sensor thing.
Not much, Christy. Not much
is
shaking.
Christy.
Not much is shaking. Tim's not here yet. Sorry. I can't help it. It's just my sense of humor. And it still hasn't recovered, so. That little asshole came home last night acting like absolutely nothing had happened.
Of course.
All cheerful, handed me a can of Pringles and some fruit. Told me that they didn't have any Pepsi. They had Coke, and I'm like, well, I drank that. And he goes, yeah, I didn't get any. I'm like, yeah, that figures. And just was talking to me. I usually can't get 5 words out of that boy in a month. And he's sitting there having conversations with me. Devin!
Hey, Devin.
Oh, shit. Oh, honey. My candle is lit for her and my heart is with her. Whatever positive energy I can possibly get, manifest is going towards her. Thank you for letting us know, Devin.
Yes, thank you for letting us know.
That's scary.
She has to have a transfusion because of low hemoglobin. What's making her anemic? Does she have something internal or?
She said they don't know the cause.
Yeah.
So there's probably, I would assume, still going to be doing more testing.
Let me ask a personal question, Devin. Does she still have her cycles? Because I know there's a lot of issues with those.
Those stupid cycles.
Oftentimes with chronic anemia.
I hate cycles.
Or if you're just starting to go through the change, you'll have pretty intense ones, just random ones.
Yeah. No, she doesn't.
Okay. Well, we rule that out. Crap like this is so frustrating.
It is, and
you want the answers yesterday because you're kind of freaking out.
Yeah, you want to go in and have them go, oh, this is what's wrong, bam, and
yeah, you want them to do a data and just kind of scan you, and like, oh, okay, we can fix that.
Although I have to say, on the other hand, getting 3 things thrown at you that's wrong with you all at once, like after they take blood and just run a few tests, that's scary too, because that happened to me too.
Yeah.
When I went in for all that fluid retention, I was stuck in the emergency room. I didn't even get out of the emergency room exam room, and they had taken blood, and I waited about an hour. And guy walks in and goes, okay, well, you have congestive heart failure, you're diabetic, and you have a urinary tract infection. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? His bedside manner sucked. So, yeah. Only 2 of those 3 were correct, but, yeah. Okay, Devin. And if you're able to, give her a hug from me.
Yep, if you're there with her, give her one for me, too.
I don't like people being sick, especially that sick. I'll allow a cold here and there, but
yeah, when I had my gallbladder attack, I had that going on. I was diagnosed diabetic in the ER.
Yeah.
And then I had that brown recluse bite thing on my leg. And some kind of weird webbing shit had grown over it. It's something. I don't remember what it was. I was too drugged up to give a shit.
Yeah. Kevin said her medication could cause anemia too, depending on what kind of medication she's taking.
Yeah, especially if she's doing like a lot of anti-inflammatories.
Yeah, I'm sure that I would assume that they will run down her medication list and run all the tests for that, hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they don't always, when they prescribe stuff, they don't always check for interactions, and they should. A couple of times I've gotten prescriptions and the pharmacist has actually caught it and said, you can't mix these 2 or you're going to die. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn. So
I know I've saved myself and both of my parents from several incidents like that. Either in the hospital or in, through the pharmacy or,
Yeah.
It's like, excuse me, but can't take that. Well, why? Because I'm on this. What's that got to do with it? And I said, check the PDR and check contraindicators, you dumbass.
Well, they told me I couldn't do my Lyrica because of my heart meds and my blood pressure and all that, but I can't get any of those now, so I want my Lyrica back because my gabapentin is not working. It's they switched manufacturers. Now I have these pills that have a blue coating on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to take extra because within 3 hours, I'm back to screaming pain. And I'm like, they should be lasting twice as long. And they used to. Every once in a while, I would have a flare up. But for the past 6-7 months, my medication has been lasting me correctly. I have enough medication left for maybe a week. And I'm not due for a refill until August 8th. That, I mean, and I'm not overdoing it. If I hurt, I'll take an extra one because I hurt. They don't seem to have the same strength. And my Lyrica always worked. And I don't know how much more expensive it is, but I'm going to ask him to prescribe my my lyric again because he wanted to boost the last time I talked to him. Well, no, the time before the last time I talked to him, he wanted to boost my gabapentin with amitriptyline.
Mm-hmm.
But John was prescribed amitriptyline to help him sleep. And a friend of mine was given amitriptyline and it made her literally trip. She's like, it's like tripping without leaving your house. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that if I'm going to be working with a torch. You know what I mean? It's not a good idea to mix a medication that makes you drowsy and sleepy with fire. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to be falling asleep all the time. I mean, it would be nice to actually sleep, but I don't think drugged sleep is going to help me any.
If you've been on gabapentin that long, when you mix amitriptyline, all it does is amplify the effects of the gabapentin because they give you a little tiny dose. It's like a microdose.
I can try it. I wasn't going to do it with the other gabapentin because the other gabapentin, see, what it was is I was on 600 milligrams.
Yeah.
And she's on oxygen flow meds, like whatever that is. A lot of nitrates will cause as well. Oh, okay. Good morning, Maureen.
I gotta read.
Medications that are meant to help you end up fucking you up so bad. What it was is I was on 600 milligrams of gabapentin 3 times a day. And after almost a year, the effects weren't as strong. I assume my system was getting used to them. So they were being less and less effective. And so I talked to him and he was like, well, we can boost it. And I was like, well, I'd rather just have a higher dose of the gabapentin. I can't afford another medication, you know, and which I really can't. And so he increased it to 900 milligrams 3 times a day. But because of my sleep schedule, I'll sleep up a couple hours, I'll be up. Then I'll be up for 24 hours and then I'll sleep for 3 hours. You know what I mean? So it's hard to regulate taking it 3 times a day when your cycle is not a normal 24 hours that they're thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay, Maureen. Imagine that. Imagine that. Weeds growing like weeds. So they do have a 1,200 milligram gabapentin, but I'm a little leery of going that high.
Yeah. So, I couldn't go that high.
I mean, depending on how much the amitriptyline cost, because this stuff, I mean, I instantly noticed that this stuff was not as effective. And
well, I can tell you right now, amitriptyline is an old drug and it's super cheap.
Well, good, because super cheap is good.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm apparently not getting paid back the $1,000 my son owes me because he doesn't feel that he owes it to me. Yeah, had a happy day yesterday. So, but my biggest problem right now is I can't get to my damn doctor because I haven't physically gone there for a year. Hello, COVID. And I'm at risk. I'm yes, please let me walk into the volcano, you know. They want to see me in person. I can't get out of my house. So this makes it a little difficult. Yeah. So I have no refills on my prescription right now anyway. And I don't know if I can get him to extend it until we can figure out a way for me to get out of my house.
Yeah.
Because the landlord said he can't figure out how to do the doorway so that I can get out without taking the outside door off, a storm door. I don't want to take the storm door off. I don't do construction. How the fuck? And he goes, do you have any ideas? How the fuck would I know? What the fuck? I'm like, you're asking me? So, and I actually thought of something, but good morning, Virginia. But I want to talk to his dad about it because his dad seems to be more hands-on, being able to rig things so that you can make things work than his son does.
Yeah.
Because his dad doesn't smoke any weed. Well, if he does, he doesn't smoke as much. And he doesn't smoke when he's working, you know? Because my landlord shows up high all the time. But they also want me to go down to the place to get blood drawn so I can get blood work done. And I can't get there either. They want me to do that before I make my appointment. I tried to tell them I couldn't get out of my house, and they weren't listening to me. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you people, so I'm gonna have to suffer because I can't get out of my house. That's nice. Yay! But my son's so helpful and helps me so much. He doesn't feel he needs to pay me back for running utilities for the past 2 months.
Well, I'm inclined to disagree with that because he doesn't hardly do shit. I'm sorry.
Virginia, right now she's at the hospital. She has to have a blood transfusion because her hemoglobin's low. She went in last night. They called an ambulance because she was nauseous and dizzy. And that's all we know right now. Yeah. So I've got my candle lit for her. And it's an actual physical candle, not the one that I keep in my head. And hey, Wendy. Send as much positive energy as we can, And I told myself I wasn't going to bring my personal bullshit onto the show today, so I do apologize for that. I'm just a little bitter right now.
Sometimes you just vent a little, girlfriend.
Yeah, well, I vented to my mom, who turned around and said, well, I don't know what I can do about it. I'm like, I don't need you to do anything. There's nothing you can do about it. I just need you to vent and let you know the situation at my house. Because my mom noticed that he was extra super grumpy on Monday. I was like, hello, he's like that all the time. Come on in, Susanna. And,
hey, Jay. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Susanna.
I told my mom, I was like, you got more words out of him in the 45 minutes you were in the house than I get in an entire week. She's like, I don't know what to do about him. I was like, there's nothing we can do. He's 26. He's going to do what he wants. And what he wants is crushing his mother's heart and then setting it on fire, which is what he did yesterday. And then came home and handed me a can of Pringles and some fruit and acted like there was absolutely nothing wrong in the world and was treating me super nice. And I'm like, yeah, that's not working this time. You can only punch someone in the face so many times and they're going to stop getting within range of your swing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at that point. I literally told him to move out yesterday. I did. I was like, you just need to take your bags and go live with Hector. If, Hector's so great and you have so much better time there, you need to go and stay with Hector. Come back here, put the dogs out a couple of times a day and have a nice day. I was like, you said you'd help me with cash every month, and that would be great. You can call it rent for your dog. I don't care what you call it, but you can just get the fuck out. Because who wants to live in the same house with someone who hates them, And he does. That's exactly how he acted. I'm a horrible person. I'm a horrible mother, and he can't stand being around. So leave. I said, then get the fuck out. I've had it. I'd rather fall and die on the floor trying to put my dog out than deal with his bullshit anymore. I'm at my limit. I'm over my limit. I am not a passive person, and I have had to be passive for over a year because of his bullshit. Nope. All done. Fuck that shit. And I hope everybody else is having a really good Saturday because mine kind of fucking sucks. But it's actually not too bad because he left for work about an hour ago. So he's gone. He's the fuck out of here. I was like, see you later, bye.
Well, you might be living in the world of suck. But we love you.
Thank you. I love you guys too. Yeah, my life is just full on craptastic right now. But we shall move on.
And if I lived close enough, I'd come over and school your son.
It wouldn't do a damn bit of good. None.
I'd feel better.
He'd just turn around and walk away. He'd go fuck yourself, and he'd walk away. He wouldn't care. He'd walk right out the door. He don't give a damn.
He would be able to walk. He'd be wrapped up in a sheet. I'd be having an iron skillet in my hand and having a very
You'd never even get close to him, Willow. You would never even get close to him. Not unless you immobilized him from a distance. I'm totally honest. The boy's a beast. I mean, it's one of the
I was
reasons that,
taught some self-defense from my military dad, who was taught, all those touch points.
yeah, he was
And
taught all of those by John, so he knows how to counter them all. And
not
those
sent
were,
from a distance.
yeah, you definitely got to get him from a distance because, yeah, the boy can pick up a refrigerator without breathing heavy or straining. I mean, shit just bounces off him. And which comes in handy if there's trouble, but it does not come in handy when you're like, oh shit, this boy could just knock me out of the wheelchair if he's in one of his temper tantrums. He'd feel bad about it later, but it's still going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he'd feel about it later because I'd have his ass turned in for assault.
Because, I mean, I think that's why he was being so nice yesterday is when he got home from work, is because he realized he crossed all the lines yesterday. And I'm tired of him throwing a fit, saying whatever he wants, being hurtful, being spiteful, being mean and cruel. And then he knows he crossed the line, but doesn't apologize. He just starts acting nice for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
It's a repetitive cycle, and I'm tired of it. And I'm just like, whatever. So, he said that he shouldn't have to give me the money because he does things for me. And I'm like, well, you just said family is supposed to do things for each other, but now you expect to basically get paid for helping me? You don't do
And how
enough
many
to earn
times have you bought him
$1,000.
groceries?
I was
And
like,
how many times have you covered his rent? While
well,
he's
actually,
used his stimulus money to buy toys.
yeah, actually, I haven't covered his rent all that often. I've covered parts of his rent because he felt he didn't have to pay what he owed. Um, and I've only actually had to pay his rent the last 2 months in full. But he owed me like $250. He was short, and he was like, if you can put in the 250 for me, I'll pay you back. I'm like, okay. I had to pay extra for those fucking assholes he had move in. He's paying for that window to get fixed. I'm not. None of that money is coming from me. His friends broke it. He can fucking pay for it. And if he thinks otherwise, he just get the fuck out. I'm just so tired of it. I cannot support myself. I mean, my
He's the
mom
one
had
that
to give,
brought him in.
I know my mom had to give me $25 so I'd make rent this month. I was $25. Well, I was like $17 short, but you can only take $20 increments out of an ATM, so I could only take out 500. And so my mom gave me the $25 so I could have my rent paid in full.
Yeah.
Which I fully appreciate, but she volunteered for that though. I was like, yeah, I wasn't telling her anything to get money from her. If I want to borrow money from my mother, I go, Mom, can I borrow $25?
Yeah.
So I was telling her, I was like, well, I'm going to be $25 on short, but I'm sure Jay will understand and we can make up for it. And she goes, oh, I can give you the $25. I'm like, really? I'm like, oh, well, that would be awesome. Thank you. Right. Yesterday, she goes, and I can't keep helping you with your rent. I'm like, I did not ask you to. This is what my mom does. It's guilt after the fact of her volunteering for something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I vented to Tina, poor Tina, and I vented to my mother.
Yeah, I was hoping you were able to talk to Tina.
Yeah,
I don't have the right energy to calm you because it
I
usually
know.
pisses me off too much.
Yeah, well, it makes Tina mad too, but she actually just sat there and let me vent, and by her not responding, because my first instinct is to defend my son when someone's like, "Oh, I'll kill that little asshole." I'd be like, "The fuck you will."
I know. I don't want
It's a
to
mom
kill him.
instinct.
I just want to kind of rearrange things a little.
Yeah, it's just the problem is it just would never happen.
You don't
And
know me that well, honey. I've never
Tina,
lost a fight in my life.
I know me that well, and I've never lost a fight in my life, and I couldn't take him when I was fully in one piece. So hell, I accidentally pushed him once. I meant to put my hands on his shoulders, and he was closer than I thought he was. He was, how old was he? 14, I think. And he was closer than I thought, so I accidentally pushed him on his shoulders. He pushed me back, and I flew. I was like, what the fuck? Luckily, there was a wall there, or I would have kept, I'd still be going now. I'm like, what the hell? He goes, you pushed me first. I'm like, I didn't mean to. It was an accident. He goes, oh, well, then sorry, and walked away. I'm like, like, holy fuck. Yeah, I mean, he hit a guy. When I was in Florida, they had roommates that caused a lot of problems. And this was John's fault this time. But the guy, half of the roommates, punched John in the back of the head. John, having had triple bypass surgery and having back problems and leg problems at the time, it was just starting to affect him. A punch to the back of the skull is definitely not something that he needed to deal with. My son was so pissed off at this guy that he spun him around and punched him in the face. He broke his cheekbone and his orbital bone in one shot. He goes, and I didn't even hit him as hard as I could. I was like, the good thing you would have gone to jail for, manslaughter. He has to be, really, really careful about what he does. He's, so I wouldn't want anybody to get in that position to get physical with him because he'll either walk away or he will annihilate. I've seen him in a fight. And it wasn't pretty for the other person. Luckily, my son was able to gather his senses because the kid kept yelling in his face. And my son told him point blank, dead calm, stop yelling in my face. Because it triggers his impulsive destructive disorder if you're screaming in his face. This is why I told John, my son cannot go in the military. He'll never make it through boot camp. And so he gave him one warning and the kid kept screaming in his face. And my son just, picked him up, power slammed him, and it was on. He almost broke a big counter that was from the kitchen. I saw the whole thing rock. I'm like, oh my God, all those nails just pulled out of the floor. And this kid hit my son dead center in the back. You could hear it echo through his body cavity. And my son started laughing and looked at him and goes, is that all you got, bitch? And just annihilated the kid. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, stop it, you're going to kill him. And he's like, and? I'm like, oh, fuck.
The point is?
Yeah. My son fights like I do. He doesn't feel anything while he's fighting. Yeah. And I used to be super strong. All of it's gone now because of my back being so weakened. But my son still has that. Plus, he's almost 400 pounds. So he's got his weight behind him. Although he's losing weight because he's walking back and forth to work now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's good for him. And but he's still,
Still a big piece.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Some eye candy I could show you.
So, and talking to him doesn't do any good. He just doesn't think he's in the wrong. He, according to him, I've been a crappy mother since he's had to do everything for me since he was 17, blah, blah, blah. I'm lazy and never tried to better myself. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm sorry I had kids. My life got put on hold. You know what I mean? I did have things I was going to do, but so sorry, And then money grubbing. I'm like, really? I'm like, if I was money grubbing, I would have put your ass on a corner and hired you out for rent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hired him out as bodyguard or something and been like, here, go watch this person, make me some money. But because I expected him to pay the expenses he would have already paid. See, I'm not asking him for his money. I'm asking him for my money, but it's not going to happen. He told me to calculate. He's like, how much do I owe you? I'm not even going to calculate it because it'll piss me off if I know exactly how much it is. But he did buy groceries, although most of I think about half of what it was on, he had a receipt from Walmart that was about 6 or 7 inches long. But I think probably about half of that were snacks for himself or food for himself.
Yeah.
I did ask him if he got stuff for meals, and he's like, yes. I'm like, okay. So, but I won't be able to pay anybody back that helped me out. I won't be able to buy what I want because he's not paying me back, and I'm broke. I got nothing,
Yeah.
So, It is what it is. Maureen, I don't think Kevin really wants to say that in a live, but if you pop your email in there, Maureen, he might email you what it is. Giving last names out for some people is no. See, I don't care, but you know. Oh, your toaster died. That sucked. I haven't had a toaster in shit. I don't even remember. 20 years. We always just put butter in a frying pan and toast the bread like you would with a grilled cheese. Only it's just it's just a piece of bread.
Caramelize it.
Yeah, fully good.
Yeah, my toaster
So
died in the middle of COVID.
So me not ranting has turned into me ranting. Sorry.
You obviously needed to get it out, girlfriend.
Well,
Can I show you a piece of eye candy?
Does it purr?
No.
Oh.
It's a slip.
Sure. Oh, okay, sure.
No, this is Jemmy.
Ooh.
It's a sandy piece.
It's hard to see with your camera, but the gist of it is really pretty. Holding your hand, you're.
Well, I'm trying to block the lamp.
Yeah. What stone is it? Are they turquoise?
Turquoise, yes.
Okay. See, even with pixelated camera, I can tell turquoise. It's very pretty.
Kathy Valentine from Australia bought this. Not this week, but last week at auction. And Sandy emailed me the other day. Was like, "What size ring do you wear?" So I told her, and then I was like, "Can I ask why?" Well, the ring that Kathy bought at the last auction, she wants to gift it to you. And I just needed to know if I needed to adjust the size on it.
That's very sweet. Maureen, why would your boyfriend have a problem with Kevin just emailing you his last name so you could find out if those people know him? That doesn't make sense. If your boyfriend is that over freaking dominating, kick him, because that would suck.
Yeah. Wrap him in a iron skillet.
You're gonna crochet a Jigglypuff? I want to see that one because that little whale was adorable.
Yeah, no dude is going to tell me what emails I can get or who I can hang out with or
did you mean that? Or did you mean he wouldn't like you putting your email in the chat? Even so, I mean, it's email. It's not like your personal address.
Yeah, really. Dude's a little OCD there.
Yeah, none of that is any excuse.
Yeah, there's no excuse for attitude like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I just have zero tolerance for men trying to tell a woman what she can and can't do. All that shit.
If she's okay with that, then that's, I mean.
Yeah, all power to you.
She's the one that's got to deal with it. It just, I don't know, wouldn't fly with me.
Me neither. Like I said, he'd be wrapped up in a bed sheet middle of the night when he's asleep.
Yeah, I don't think not wanting your email out there is really constitution for beating somebody. That avenue where we would hang, then it got like the Wild West. Yeah. Well, see, there you go. It works for her. She loves him and his attitude, and she's going on 17 years, so I guess it's working for her, you know?
It wouldn't last 17 minutes with me. I was engaged once to a guy, and the minute that I said that I would marry him, he started trying to tell me what I could do and what I couldn't do, and, you know, that he's very protective and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, then you're single then, aren't you? What do you mean?
My daughter apparently broke up, my oldest apparently broke up with her boyfriend because he got upset because on their 1-year anniversary, she told him that she could not come hang out at his house because she had to study. She's between work and school. She's, and they have to do time. They have to have credited time at veterinarians' offices, which means they work for free for like an entire day. And so between all of that, hi Tina.
Hello, morning.
Morning, Tina.
Between all of that, her studies were starting to slack off. And my daughter is very straight A. I mean, she's in college and she's going to be a vet tech and she wants to keep her grade average up. And she told him she needed to study and he got mad. And she was like, excuse me? Because when you're with somebody, they should be supportive of, you trying to better yourself in your future and all that. And he was texting her all the time and he'd try to call her while she was in class or at work. And he'd get mad if she didn't talk. She's like, no, I'm done. And so I guess she broke up with him like a month ago.
Good for her.
Yeah. At least now she has time to take care of the dog she brought home to my mother's house without permission. So.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning. Tina is up very, very early, people.
It's going on 9 a.m. here. We're good.
Yeah, it's like a record shift.
Yeah.
No thanks, Maureen. There's plenty of goat ropers around here for me to school.
I'm still pretty much asleep. I'm just here physically.
Wake up, you sleepyhead. Wake up, get out of bed.
If you scroll up in the chat, Tina, Devin popped in and gave us an update on Robin.
Well, I mean, she doesn't have to scroll. I can tell her.
Well, I don't have the memory.
Robin has to have a blood transfusion because of low hemoglobin, and that's pretty much all they know right now. There's still don't know the cause or any of that yet.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So.
Okay, Tim's already said Menomina, and now Damien from the living room went Menomina. Make these boys happy.
Boop boo doo boo doo.
Boop boop doo.
Hey, Darlene. So, well, I already told the story of what happened to John when he said, "Bitch, make me a sandwich."
Yep, and fed it to a dog.
Yep, I walked in with a delicious sandwich, and I was like, "It looks good, doesn't it?" And he was like, "Oh, I can't wait to eat that." I'm like, "Keep waiting and put it on the floor and let the dogs eat it."
Hi, Jesse.
If he had said please, it might have happened. Hey, Jesse.
Morning, Darlene. Morning, Jesse.
How are you, Darlene? Feeling okay this morning?
Yeah, definitely prayers, positive energy, good vibes, all of that for Robin.
Yep.
I mean, especially after the scare she had when she was in the hospital before, it must be very scary to have to deal with this again.
But at least this time she didn't wait.
Yeah, I'm very glad. I think she learned that lesson, you know.
I mean, nobody wants to go to the hospital.
Okay.
Everybody wants to put it off, but I'm glad she stepped up. And
yeah, Rhonda, the first thing I did this morning was check my messages to see if you had sent me an update. But
good morning, Rhonda.
Devin popped in a little while ago and updated us, so.
Hey, Darlene, Rhonda, Kevin, Jesse, Rhonda, Virginia, Marie, Willow, Cody, anybody and everybody else hanging out in the rafters. Howdy, howdy, howdy. I gotta go get face plates tore off of the outlets and such, and
Oh, fun.
a quick sweep so we can start painting here in a little bit.
Oh, cool. What color are you painting? Same color?
No. It's a gray.
Well, that sounds cheery.
Well, it's a blue gray.
Oh, I love blue gray.
I can't remember.
That's cheery.
I know, right?
Yeah, I'm
Get
not
it,
a great
those
fan
weeds.
either.
Oh no,
I
that's
like
what
slate.
it is.
Slate shades, country rose, slate blue. But
Yeah.
Get back to those
my
weeds,
craft room
mommy.
is gray right now, and it's the way it was when we moved here, and it's completely annoying.
I cannot paint here. I do have somewhere in the land of somewhere. I do have a tapestry that I bought when I was at the other house with my son. That I could potentially hang on the wall in my craft room, which would actually make a really cool background. But I have to take out a crap ton of screws that the assholes put in the walls first, and then have to ask my son to put it up because I don't want my mom getting on the step stool. So yeah, I don't know how that's going to go, but I
What
still got another couple of months before I can finish in the craft room anyway.
what does the tapestry depict?
I don't remember.
Oh,
It's been
well,
that
it'll be a
long.
surprise for all of us.
Yeah, it was 3 years ago,
Yeah,
And I looked at so many of them that
they ran together.
yeah, I mean I looked at all kinds of fantasy ones and forestry ones.
Go find clothes.
Yeah, that's kind of
Actually,
what I was curious about. Was it, like fantasy, forestry,
yeah.
floral? I don't see you as a floral girl.
Boop. Who's booping me? I'm not even on that screen right now. Hold on just one sec.
Who's
Because my
booping?
Chrome's acting up.
It's probably some wild. Never mind.
Good morning, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Second tits, I love you. You're great.
Good morning, Kevin. Alrighty then.
Are you
I
having
have
a meltdown moment or
absolutely no
what?
life whatsoever.
You okay?
Ouch.
I need some medication.
Yeah, don't we all? I do.
Yeah, but you don't get it over the counter. Is that
It's
Tim?
pretty, Virginia.
Do I hear Toodles in the background?
You do.
Toodles! Wow, don't everybody stop because of me.
I'm actually looking to see if I can find the tapestry. And you know what? I got it. Oh, excuse me. I got it on the first hit.
Oh, isn't that cool?
Oh, I'm Kodi. I'm cool.
And sorry we couldn't find that page. Thanks so much. Apparently they don't sell it anymore.
Don't you love it when that happens?
I can't even pull up the picture of it. Well,
Does it
shit.
give you a name of it?
Yeah.
Because then you could just go random Google. There's probably an image of it out there somewhere. Outside of the website.
Oh, the cat.
It does give me the measurements on it too. It's a 51 by 60 inch tapestry.
Did you put out another one, Kevin?
No, I have not. I'll be
One with
doing.
Oh, yeah,
water ball.
The kitten is adorable.
I'll be doing kitty bang bang this afternoon.
Okay.
I
Cool.
had to give her a gangster name.
What kitty are we talking about?
My kitty.
Oh, okay.
Kevin got a kitty.
Cool. I got a kitty too.
Lost in the bushes next to this home.
His is a little older.
Little.
Yeah, mine's
His is a
still
little
nursing.
older than yours.
She's probably 6 weeks. She doesn't weigh yet a pound.
This one's coming up on 5 weeks, but she was like 3.5-ish when we got her.
Yeah, when you get to that 6 to 8 week span, it's like a human baby at 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She's a pisser. Meow. Doesn't even want to meow the whole thing. She just goes meow. What? Meow. It's a pillow thief.
Hmm. That was funny when you told her to get the pillow and she did.
You know what's very weird? About 4 times I've told that kitty to do something, and she'd look at me and go do it. And I'd be like, this is just
Yeah.
a sheer coincidence.
Yeah, sure it
But
is.
then I was like, well, how many words do you actually say to them? Because you talk to them like they're babies. So you like that line between kitties and if anybody's got the problem with me saying kitties, I'll fight you. Anyway, the line between human babies and kitties, the very fine line between that. They only know a certain amount of words. Oh, is that the thing you threw on the floor? Let me go jump on it. She runs from the other side of the bedroom, turns the corner by the bathroom, and then runs on the bathroom floor and slides and crashes into the wall. It's freaking hilarious. So I had to put a towel down by that one wall. I had to put a runner underneath the towel rack because she would run on that wall, bouncing at the toilet. And then shake her head like, oh, that was fun. I'm like, yeah, okay.
No, I want to do it again.
Damage.
I'm sorry?
Mine is just starting to streak.
Oh, man. I didn't know the kitties were that hyper.
Oh, yeah. They're hyper.
Let me see how far I can stick my claws into your arm before I can hang from it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
I
mine's
have-
a biter. I've been breaking her biting.
We're up to
She wants
47.
to bite everything. And I don't mean nibble. I mean she wants to chomp it. I
Yeah.
got wounds on my hands and arms, and
She does it to your feet when you're under the comfort. I don't think that she can get through there, and she does. You're like, mother.
Mm-hmm.
Then they look at you and like, you're so damn cute. I can't pummel you.
They look at you all sweet and innocent, like what?
And now y'all know why. Well, every time I say that I'm letting my leg rest and the cat just happen to run over it, make me bleed. You all know what I'm going through.
Hi, darling. Thank you.
Okay, let's see if I can.
Better blues. I'm putting on new shoes. What's the point of Facebook?
To use Messenger so you can talk to people.
It looks like I'm better than you, and I'll tell you why. I went to the park with my 5-year-old, and we played on the swings. Yeah, well, I went to the park with all 3 of my kids, and we brought our own swings. Yeah, well, we own the park. We own the park. And then let me come back. I'm like, oh, my God, people. Seriously? This is what it's come to? Yeah, look at my hamburger. Oh, we haven't seen one of those. And you know what people don't understand? No one's going to watch your cell phone video of the fireworks. Don't bother. Other than that.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Kitty.
I believe that's the tapestry that I got. It looks very familiar to the teeny tiny picture that I was able to see on Amazon.
that is beautiful.
I see goblins and ghouls and little
will-o-wisps and all that stuff.
What are those little people? The tiny little people?
Leprechauns?
No, smaller than that.
Fairies?
Fairies. And I see. Oh, there's Tim. I see Toodles.
So it's kind of a combination of a forest and fantasy type of thing. And I have that, and it's in my room somewhere.
I love those colors.
Yeah. Thank you, darling. So that is what we're going to. I'm debating between having it in my craft room or having it in my bedroom because it's that picture called to me, the whole, and it's very soothing to me, and that's why I put that one.
What's this, hey?
And so I don't know. I'm drawn whether or not I'm gonna. Virginia, I don't know.
Something like a phenomenon.
It's an avatar day today, I guess. I just wasn't feeling it this morning. I'm still kind of not, but bye. Kevin never has his camera on, so we have to give him allowance for that.
Flicker.
What do we need cameras on?
I don't know. Virginia said, "Why doesn't anybody have their cameras on?"
so I could stalk everybody.
Well, if I leave my camera on, I have to turn my lamp off, and I can barely see my keyboard because the lamp behind me glaring in the screen damages or affects that eye.
And I
So
don't
that's
put my
why I've been
camera-
running dark more often than I
and I
did
don't put my
before.
camera on because I'm just a dick.
Well, Kevin, you can stalk me anytime. I have no life, but go for it.
This way, nobody knows. They don't see me coming. And I'm like, throw a snowball and run. Ah, I got you.
Rhonda, have you gotten any sleep?
Oh, shh.
I haven't been to bed either, Rhonda. I get it.
I'm the Rhonda person. Well, I couldn't find nobody hanging out last night, so where the hell was everybody?
I was sleeping off and on last night. Hey, Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
Kristen.
I know Horizon Picks auction went pretty freaking late. He was still on at like 2:30 in the morning. I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
I really wish I would like to hang out there, but I lose interest not because of him. I don't have no interest in that product, that genre.
Yeah.
So I get bored rather easily. But when I'm
Hey, Jen.
focused, Shadow
Hey,
Woman will
Jen.
tell you I'm in on every lot, but
Yeah.
I don't understand. Everybody goes a different path. I didn't
Right.
go the comic book toy thing path, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
Oh, that
Each
sucks,
his own.
Rhonda.
I just
No, I can understand that, Kevin. I mean, there are certain things that I collect in that genre, and I do love a lot of the artwork, but I'm not in detailed. I did learn a lot hanging out with them, but then they stopped putting the link to the back room, so I can't go and hang out with them in the back room anymore. But it was fun learning different things about different toys and comics and things, which my instant retention was probably nil. But if it ever comes up in conversation, I'll be like, hey, I know that.
When my brain keeps saying that I'm running out of space, I got to delete some files. There's no more room left.
Oh, Virginia, earaches suck bad. I hope they can help you.
Yeah.
Ron, that's probably because your phone was ringing.
But no, I call Roy, I call him my little hyper monkey, and I put a little monkey in the chat for him because he's always bouncing all over that room. Yeah,
He's a pleasant fellow.
he is. He's very sweet. It was funny because he said that during one of the lives that he's on with Patrick and Chaos and all that, he was sitting so still and quiet, and I actually put it in the chat. I'm like, Roy, are you okay? I'm like, are you feeling okay? Because that's what people do to me when I'm too quiet. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm like, well, you're not moving. Are you sure you're okay? He was like, huh. He actually picked up a Curious George T-shirt at an estate sale or yard sale or something. He found it, and then he sent me a picture of it. It's just Curious George kicking back with his hands behind his head and his legs crossed and just chilling. I was like, there you go. And he had it displayed the one day. It was funny.
When you use the heat pad, Virginia, put a towel or a tissue or something, because it will help drain the fluid.
Yeah.
It's funny. You can go in a pool for 12 hours a day for a month and never get water in your ear, and then it comes out of nowhere by itself.
Mm-hmm.
My ears don't drain anymore. The valves in both of them have failed, and they've sealed shut. So I'm literally, when I come out of the shower, if I've gotten water in the ear, I'm literally doing the whole
Yeah.
banging the side of my head thing, knocking the water out.
I used to get swimmer's ear constantly, like all summer. It would alternate ears
Yep.
because I was in the water so much.
See, I always had to wear earplugs and goggles because I just literally could not handle chlorine water or river water or any. I just can't. It always ends up.
It's that Wicked Witch aspect. You're afraid of water.
Wow.
I'm melting. I'll get you, my pretty.
I don't mind getting in the water. I just don't swim very well at all, and I haven't had the greatest experiences with water.
I used to swim like a fish when I was a kid. My dad kept checking me for gills. I'd come home and he'd be like checking behind. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, checking for gills. The
one time I went to the ocean, there had been a storm the night before, So there was all these little slivers of jellyfish tentacle,
Mm.
and I got my whole legs. They just cross-hatched with that shit. Plus, I got roasted like a lobster because I can't wear sunscreen, and it was white sandy beach, and I didn't know that increased the burn factor. So I had sun poisoning, sunburn, blisters, and jellyfish stings. I was sicker than a dog. Went to a creek, and they had put a pit in the creek so you could swim in the pit. And I sat on the ledge. Baby leeches.
Yeah.
I was covered in them.
What's a crick?
Creek.
It's a creek.
Oh,
Yeah.
Out here in
Kansas, they call it a crick.
boonies, we call them a crick.
They call it that here too, Kevin. You'll hear it eventually. For little small running bodies of water, they call it a creek.
I call them a stream.
Yeah, I call them a stream or a creek, but
Yeah, there ain't no
No,
streams
I
here. It's
said
cricks.
There's one word you use down
Boonies.
here which confuses me all
Jen,
the time.
boonies with a B, not a G.
I went to a lake when I was a kid and didn't have shoes on. They didn't tell us that we needed to put shoes on. And there was broken glass all over in the water. So I came out with my bottoms of my feet like chopped liver. I just have not had good experiences with water. I just haven't. So it's just not something that calls to me.
That's them telling you stay on the ground.
yeah, stay on dry land. That's
Yeah.
me. I had swimming lessons when I was like 2 or 3 years old, so that's when I started swimming. And
I never had lessons. I self-taught. Very basic swimming. I'm not a strong swimmer at all. And I cannot tread water. It just doesn't happen. I sink. My
You'd think with
floaters
boobs like
don't
that,
help
you'd
at all.
float. You'd think the personal flotation devices would work.
Yeah, no. They
They
just
don't
get up
really
by my
float.
ears while I'm going down.
They don't really float, do they? Why am I even asking this question?
They do actually, depending. I
I'm
mean,
gonna get
If you're
two
on your
boobs
back,
to my boobs.
they do add buoyancy. But straight up, they're like sinkers. And yeah.
Oh, if you get flipped over, it's game over.
yeah, it depends on how big they are too.
So wait a minute. I can go jump in the creek and I'll find a bunch of booby women down there? All right, I gotta go fishing.
Careful what you're looking for.
What you fishing for? Boob fish?
Boobies.
I tied a ring to my fish hook and I'm trying to get some booby women.
Well, I was the youngest person at my camp to get my junior life saving, which means I didn't have to take lessons anymore. Ironically, I had to save the kid that lived across the street from me. That was my childhood nemesis that I shot up his roof with my dad's 22. It is what it is. I saved his ass and told him not to expect it again. And and then I was the youngest person to be able to go into the dive pool at my the swim club that my parents were members of. The general rule is you had to be 14 and I was 9, but I was teaching myself how to dive and they were getting tired of me doing it in the pool I wasn't supposed to be diving in. So they gave me the test and I passed it, so I was able to go into the dive pool. It was 14 feet deep. That's why they had an age limit. I was an overachiever when I was a kid.
Sounds like you were breaking balls back then too, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna swim where I want, whatever. I'll swim where I want.
Oh yeah, I mean, I made sure there was nobody near me. They were more concerned because the deep end of the pool that I was diving into was 6 feet, and I was doing shallow dives, but they were afraid that I was gonna like when I entered the water, I was gonna be too far out, and the slant was pretty, you know.
They were afraid
I was gonna break my neck, basically. Yeah.
I hate.
I will say I never did.
Talking about it makes me nervous.
I will say I never even touched the bottom when I was doing my dives.
I've been in the deep end of a pool, but I always hang on to the side because I'm not a strong enough swimmer. And like I said, I can't tread, so I just sink.
Yeah. But and then, I mean, the whole reason there was a method behind my madness in doing the junior life saving thing so early, because swimming lessons were mandatory, and it was taking time out of my day that I wanted to spend at the barn because it was the first camp I had gone to that had horses. And the woman who had the horses there that was in charge of the barn was actually the mother of somebody I had gone to school with when I was younger. So I knew them and I liked to hang out with them. And she was teaching me how to take care of horses. So yeah, I was 11 years old. I wanted the horses, not the water at that point. I was done with the water. So I got my junior life savings so I didn't have to do swimming lessons anymore. And free swim was optional. So I skipped that too. My parents actually got a complaint that I was not going to any of my activities. I did try water skiing and I face planted and that shit hurt. And I was like, nope, fat people are not meant to water ski. I'm good. All really hot.
I wanted to take swim lessons, Tina, but my folks wouldn't do it. My mom was phobic about water, so she didn't want to do swim lessons. And I'm like, Mom, don't you think that
All it takes is one undertow. I don't care how good a swimmer you are.
Yeah. I don't go in the ocean. I have an agreement with sharks. I have an agreement with sharks. I stay out of their living room and they stay out of mine, and I don't eat them and they don't eat me. It works. So far, so good.
Yeah, when you
I always
slam on
wanted
water,
to do one of the shark cages and dive.
That I do.
Gear on and go down in the shark cage and feed sharks.
Nope. I'm good.
But yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that now.
I'm good.
Hi, Mr. Sharky. Jimmy, let me punch you in the eyeball.
Yeah.
My dream was to touch a great white.
I am all set with that.
Instead, I had to settle with splurging and getting megalodon teeth.
Oh, I want to touch a whale.
I definitely would not mind touching an orca. I love orcas.
I once listened
dolphins,
to
sharks, orcas, whales.
I listened to a YouTube AMSR with whales for like 2 hours one night. It's mind-boggling how they talk to each other.
Mm-hmm. Only the males sing.
They make like that sound they make when they run out of burgers.
They do kind of sound like Kevin. But no, those long distance whale songs that you hear like on TV or the documentaries, only the male whale sings.
Oh. So that's perfect. You got it made. The women are quiet.
Yep.
You got the life. Oh, did he say that? Come on. There's 90 of you. Come get me. Just don't send Rhonda after me. She gets vicious. Shadow Woman's okay. That Rhonda person. Oh,
well, I mean, Tina, any wild animal can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, Dolph will take your finger right off if he's not in a good mood.
Yeah. I mean, dolphins can kill.
Dolphin. Let me go pet him. The dolphin's like, get lost, guy.
Dolphins are one of the only animals that will go up against a shark, so a tame orca, well, I will do it in quotations, a tame orca can kill you. Any wild animal, a squirrel could kill you if they bit you in the right place, Well,
if you get a squirrel taking you out, you deserve to be killed.
I agree. But, I mean, any wild animal is dangerous. You have to respect the nature of the animal. There's so many people they go into the woods. No, they're not, and they're not treated well in those parks and whatnot. I mean, everybody sees the flashy blah blah blah, but like when he said that Blackfish documentary made me cry too.
Oh, there's no animal
practice that they
None.
What, Kevin?
There shouldn't even be a zoo in existence.
Well, there are two arguments on that side.
Yeah, mine and the wrong
about zoos. Well, on the other hand, it does educate people, and in a lot of the zoos, they're trying to bring back endangered animals. It's not always working. Like the rhino, is it the white rhino?
Mm-hmm.
Is gone now. It's either the white or the black rhino is gone now, and I hate that I can't remember which one it is, but they do try and preserve the animals that are endangered because of overhunting, because humans are assholes. So
well, they're fucking with the balance of nature, just like the hunters are at that point.
Yeah, but it's kind of like they're trying to counterbalance what people that are poaching are doing. I mean, like what they did to that lion, the famous lion that's in Africa. It was in a famous wildlife preserve,
Yeah.
and some guy paid the government like $100,000 or some shit in order to be able to hunt that specific lion. I mean, he was the face of the park, and they lured him out of the park so that they could kill him.
They should do that with child molesters. Okay, just start running through the woods. We're gonna come get you.
Yeah, I never watched the Tiger King. There are sanctuaries, and then there are extortion of the animal, and
Yeah,
Listen,
Tiger King, he was a bad dude.
An injured animal, go right ahead. I look the other way. Even though,
I mean,
you know,
the problem is too is that people buy exotic cats or wild animals that aren't supposed to be in captivity, and they're not supposed to have them. They're illegal to own. So that animal is now mostly domesticated at that point and can't be returned to the wild if it was captured as a baby. Where does it go? Do you just kill it because it won't survive in the wild, or do you put it in like a zoo or a sanctuary so it can live out its life? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different. It's not a black and white issue on zoos and sanctuaries and things like that. It's
the funniest one I've ever seen is where they kept trying to imprison a honey badger, and no matter what they did, because they're one of the smartest animals on the planet, that son of a bitch would escape all the time. Oh, they're vicious, you're right.
And they're one of the most vicious animals. They'll take on a lion.
They'll keep catching them and put them in there and make it bigger and put bigger branch. Whoop, he finds his way out.
Yep.
Like the minute the guy turns around, he's like, all right, let me find a way out of here. They would roll a rock over to a fence, jump. I mean, I was dying laughing at this thing. I said, You just let him go.
Yeah.
He doesn't like your accommodations.
I don't like this hotel. I'm leaving.
I never watched any of the episodes of that Tiger King. I didn't know who he was until the whole court thing started. And
I
watched a documentary kind of thing about, and then I understood, and I was like, no, I ain't watching that.
I watched the preview type of things on Netflix, like when they were flashing them on to advertise, and I was like, oh, fuck no, that guy's creepy as fuck. I'm like, ew, no. So,
well, one of the stories in this documentary thing that I watched, a woman had a horse. It couldn't compete anymore. So they had to move or something. So they gifted it to Tiger King's sanctuary to live out its days. It was an older horse. And, she drove away with her horse trailer and stuff. And it wasn't 5 minutes. And he ordered his staff to shoot it and feed it to the lions.
Yeah.
The abuse of horses in this country is mind-boggling.
It is.
The abuse of any animal in this world is mind-boggling.
Oh, look at this. You had a grizzly kill a lady in California yesterday.
They what?
You had a grizzly kill a woman in California yesterday.
What was the woman doing?
Minding her own business, putting her garbage in the trash.
You just roboted. Minding her own business where, though? I mean, was she in her...
She was putting her trash... She was putting her trash out.
What I heard is she's putting her trash out, but let's go find out what the truth is. Grizzly bear shot, killed at the fatal attack on California woman. What was she doing is always, I agree, because they don't see so well, and they tend to, okay. Grizzly bear shot and killed at the fatal attack. Oh, the California woman was in Montana. See how the shit can get twisted? Oh, he went there and dragged her out of a tent and ate her. Oh, that's fucking.
Oh, okay, so she was in bear territory. And of course, they killed the bear, right? Yep.
Of course they did.
Of course they did. Bears are my spirit animal. I don't like it when they're killed.
the human was in, you know, the bear area. So, of course, it's the bear's fault.
Right? But a person can walk into your living room, shoot you dead, and that person gets, 15 years, does 7, and they're out of jail.
Yeah, but did she have her food lockboxed?
I don't
You
know.
know, to anything like that? You know, was there
They
anything
had a
that would
tent
draw?
outside. She camped in the town.
She what?
The tent was they camped in the actual town. They put their tent up next to the post office.
Why would you put a tent next to the post office?
Probably
Must be a
so it was
vacant
safe.
lot there or something.
But if you're in an area where there's known to be 1,000 bears on a 100-mile run between the Canadian border and upper Montana and whatever, why are you in a tent?
Yeah.
Listen, not for
People
nothing,
are
Kodi.
special.
You don't need to have food around. The natural escape of gases from the human body will attract
Yeah.
them as well. I'm trying to be so politically correct with that. After my dirty
I
mouth,
didn't
if you fart,
say
they're
anything.
coming to you.
I didn't say anything about food. That was Willow. Okay, she was in Montana, but this is where the confusion came in, Kevin. The woman was from California.
What
So
difference
that's
does it
where the
make?
confusion about in California and all of that
No, I
came
didn't
from.
say California woman, and I said she's in Montana.
Yeah, it didn't until you guys started reading the story. You didn't realize that she was in Montana. It just said California woman.
What difference does it make where she was? It's okay in one state, not the other. This shouldn't have happened to that woman, and it shouldn't happen to the bear.
Yeah, there are rogue animals, Jen. I know.
Oh, typical. You know what? I can't. Sometimes I don't like these articles, and I feel like a bad guy. But every single person who dies in this country, when she walked in the room, she lit it up. She was the greatest mother, the greatest daughter, the greatest parent. Everybody's so wonderful.
Yeah.
How about this? Bear ate some asshole who wasn't paying his taxes and was robbing houses. You don't get that story.
This was a rogue bear.
Yeah, she was a
based on the information in the article that I'm reading from 22 hours ago. It said on Thursday night, a woman in Ovando, which is apparently in Montana, came home and found her door ripped off and noticed large claw marks.
Yeah, let me get in the tent outside.
This happened after that because the bear got away. They had to hunt it down.
Oh, you talking about a chicken coop you could find. Yeah, you know, it could have been distempered too, Code.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was, rogue, or it was sick or something. There was, because normally bears won't do this.
Wow.
They've got DNA evidence from the scene of the woman being attacked, and they're going to compare it to the dead bear. And it's a grizzly, which grizzlies don't usually go into towns. This is unusual. So there was definitely something.
Well, maybe grizzlies, but black bears do.
Yeah, black bears will go everywhere. We have black bears in South Carolina.
Lemon said, listen to this. Lemon said wildlife officials don't have enough evidence to draw any connection between the damage to the house and the bear that killed Logan because they don't know when the house was damaged. Okay, common sense, guys, please.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is let's go hunt all the bears because there could be a second one? That's what they're looking to do.
Oh, my goodness. Hi, Kimmy.
Hi, Kimmy.
Long time no see, honey.
Well,
how you doing?
Oh, look, it's whore.
Hi, Kimmy.
Borderline. Whorish.
They're going to do DNA comparison stuff. Hopefully they'll match the bear up and it didn't die in vain. But it's very unusual for a grizzly to come into town if that's not common there. And apparently it's not because everybody's kind of freaking out. But still, pitching a tent in Montana you're taking your chances, no matter where you do it.
Apparently this bear had been hanging around because it had taken out a chicken coop.
Yeah.
So they set a trap.
And grizzlies are very territorial. So if they concluded it was a grizzly that attacked a woman and they caught a grizzly, then that's pretty much the bear. I mean, grizzlies won't tolerate another grizzly in their territory.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Unless
they've
it's
been having
salmon hunting
problems
time.
with
When the salmon run happens, bears all get along for a little while. Although
Oh.
mama bears still had to be careful of their cubs because a male grizzly will kill cubs.
I would get along with everybody if I'm eating salmon too.
Right? Especially when they just jump out of the water right into your mouth. Funniest video I watched was a guy who was up on a rise and he was looking over at the river, and he was a safe in bear territory, distance away. All the bears he thought were over there. He's sitting here, he's filming, da da da. He heard something next to him, and he just automatically panned the camera as he turned, and there's a big ass grizzly bear sitting down next to his chair. He was like, okay, we're gonna slowly move out of the chair, and he did. He got away from it, and the bear just sat next to his chair for a little while, then just kind of reached over, knocked it over, and then got up and walked away. Like, that was awesome. Yeah.
Well,
And there's a guy who said, "Go ahead."
This woman and her friends probably committed the worst possible thing you could do. Bears can smell real good. That's why you put it in a box on a tree. So you eat outside on your little bench, and the air blows, it goes away. These women, the other two women, admitted they ate their meals inside the tent, and that smell ain't going nowhere. So that bear thought there was food in there.
Yep.
How would
And
you
there
eat
was.
inside your tent?
And there was food in there. It's just
Oh,
I have a meme that says campers are just squishy tacos for bears. I'm not going to post it because right now that would be very inappropriate, but
yeah,
I do have.
that. Unbelievable.
Yep.
This shouldn't have happened.
No, it shouldn't have.
Look at this guy. Well, they're eating now in order to hibernate. First of all, the truth of the matter is, hibernation is not a real thing. They're not sleeping. They go into a state and they can get up anytime they want.
Yep.
Especially if you poke a bear. He's like, fuck you, I'm coming out. And they're gonna come gunning for you.
Yep.
Well, something that's moving. You make a bear come out of their little fucking, what do you call it? A den? What do you call it?
Den.
Den.
You make them come out. They're not stopping till they get you.
And a big.
They'll do the end arounds. I mean, you'll be running down a road.
Yeah.
And then you see the bear coming the other way. You're like, how the hell did you do that? And people think because they're big and chubby, they're slow. You're sadly mistaken.
Yeah, bears are fast, and they'll hit you like a locomotive. It's not even their teeth or their claws that will get you. If they run straight into you, you're dead because all your organs are getting compressed at a really high rate of speed.
Whoa,
You're not getting up.
What a way to go. God damn.
Well, people in Alaska,
Avoided.
Jen, people in Alaska are aware of bears, and they learn how to live with them so that they don't have these problems. I mean, they still have incidents with them, but the rate of bear attacks in Alaska is minuscule compared to other places because other places, when you have tourists who don't listen, all these places give a pamphlet out on how to camp in bear territory, and people don't listen. Hey, Jennifer. People don't listen. They think they can do whatever they want, and they leave wrappers and food, and dirty pans will do it. I mean, you have to clean
bears
it
in
up.
Alaska is what you got to fear. The wolves in Alaska is what you got to fear.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to go out and goes, you see one, and it's just told you got to shoot them. So you come walking out your little hut, and what you don't know is behind that hut, there's three other wolves waiting to get you out in the open, and the one you see ain't the one who's going to get you. But in Alaska, they tend to be solitary unless they're breeding. But wolves will run. Listen, if you encounter them in South Carolina or in the woods, they're going to take off. But when they're hungry or pissed off, they're not taking off.
Yeah.
They'll, like, I saw the one thing where the guy's riding his bicycle in the mountains and this tiger, was it a tiger? I think it was a tiger. Oh, this little lion was just chasing him down the road. He'd stop and yell at it. It would stop. And he would ride his bike, and then lion's just like, I'm just going to keep following you. Then he stopped. And then he hit him with one of those horn things in a can. And the lion's like, all right, I'm going to stop. And 10 minutes later, guys ran down the road. It's the same fucking lion, doubled up on him. I'm
Hmm.
like, I was like, that would stop me from riding the bicycle in the mountains immediately.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen bobcats here, and they're cool as fuck, but, you know, they're going to run from you 1,000 million times. They'll never bother you. You don't want the one. You don't want the one.
The thing that freaked me out when I moved here is that bobcats, when they cry or they scream, they sound like human babies.
Yeah, they sound like babies, is right.
And we moved into the woods, so all of a sudden I'm hearing babies crying in the woods, and I'm like, what the hell? If it wasn't for John, I would have been going out in the woods in the dark looking for babies. Seriously,
You know
they
what
sound.
they do? Bobcats are very stealth. If you're in a trailer, they find their way underneath it.
Oh yeah, well
when you're sitting up.
they didn't have to find their way underneath it. Our crawl space door was on the ground, so
Yeah, so's mine. And I had one in there like a month and a half ago, and I'm laughing because they didn't know what it was. I was like, it's a bobcat. Leave it alone.
yeah,
It's gonna
You
get
just leave it
birds.
alone.
It's gonna run back. It's gonna run over to the woods, get some whatever. 2-3 weeks, they'll move them. I mean, they're
Hey, at
like
least
foxes. They got backup dens.
yeah, and at least you won't have to worry about rodents or snakes for a while.
Fucking hate snakes. There's no use for them. I know it is a snake world. I just know.
Now you do have to be if you have an unfixed female dog that's any decent size, you have to be careful of coyotes. Because coyotes, you'll get a male coyote that will lure your female dog away from your home if they're not like behind a fence and they're just, you just let your dog out or whatever. They'll lure your dog away and they'll either kill it or they'll mate with it. And then you end up with half-breed coyote puppies. Yeah.
Yeah, you think you're going to have adorable fluff balls, but then you have adorable fluff balls that'll eat you.
Yeah, mountain lions aren't something to mess with.
You'll see them when you see them alone is when you gotta worry.
Mountain lions are always alone. They're solitary.
They're just absolutely whacking dogs and cats in California by record numbers right now.
Yeah,
they're called cougars around here.
Mountain lions, they don't even when they mate, they don't stick with their mate. They mate and they're gone. They don't.
Oh, snaky snakes! I'm sorry.
The mama raises the babies by herself. Yeah, Kimmy, I can understand that. But I mean, see, this is the thing. You bring your dog inside. You bring your pets inside. You don't leave any kind of quote unquote bait for wild animals when you live in a rugged, wooded area. I mean, you just don't do it. You have to learn to live within your environment, and a lot of people won't do that. And
first person I visited down here when I came down here, I walked up there next to the trail. I'm like, well, listen, I sat up and I look in the corner, and I said, what's that with the lid? Well, that's where they would pour their 25-pound bag of dog food in it. And now I'm from the 5 boroughs of New York, and I said, are you kidding me? Why don't you just make a trail up to the tree line? You can't store to get dog food outside.
No, you can't store any kind of food. You have to, I mean, in some areas you have to get special trash cans so that bears can't get in them. There have been up in northern territories, there have been incidences where bears have actually broken into cars because people will leave fast food wrappers or fast food itself.
They'll wreck whatever they want.
Yeah, and they'll get in the car. They'll break a window. They'll get in the car, all the way in the car, and people go out to get in their car, and the bear couldn't figure out its way out. And they call the cops, and the cops sitting on his car going, well, managed to get one of the doors open so that eventually the bear would notice it. And said, well, when the bear's done destroying your car, they'll leave. Yeah, she's like, no, get the bear out now. He's like, no.
I saw a video last week.
It's not like you can just open a door, grab it by the scruff, and pop it out of there.
Yeah.
Where this bear can walk and climbed over a fence, sat there, and here come 3 little pups behind it.
Mm-hmm.
They walked across this big lawn because these people lived in a very, very, very high-end house in New Jersey.
Yep.
Bear jumps in the pool. The 3 cubs jump in the pool. They swam to the other side of the pool. They got out, walked back to the fence, climbed over the fence, and went up on their way.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there going, do these people know that she's doing this every day? You just happen to catch her once?
Yep.
One
of my favorite videos is when there were 3 bear cubs on a golf course. and they kept attacking the flagpole that was in, the hole. And they actually got the weighted thing, they got it out and they grabbed it and they took off with it. And the golfers are all standing 100 yards away, just watching this and filming it and being like, well, shit, should we tell somebody? And they're like, well, I'm not golfing anymore, so we might as well just go back to the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And Mama Bear was not in sight. Hi, Casual.
Yeah. Mama
Hey,
Bear
Casual.
was waiting for someone to come between the Cubs and her, and that was the end of the guy.
Yeah, but you always assume Mama Bear is there. Never, ever touch a bear cub.
Or
Ever.
even get between them, she's coming at you.
Nope. I mean, that mama will tear you to shit and back. You're dead.
I guess I should let this bear go I caught.
Yeah, you are dead.
Oh, it's casual flipper. Hey, casual flipper.
It's casual.
It's very casual.
Yeah, Mama Bear is always around. You might not see her, but she's there.
If she's looking for grubs, get a little protein, she's like, I go play on the golf course. If Jeremiah comes after you with the club, I'll get him.
Yeah. So,
That's surprising that a bobcat attacked a person. They're skittish.
Yeah, they are. Again,
They're
but
beautiful animals, though.
It's given the information that you gave about the women eating inside the tent. It's not surprising that the bear attacked them. Although that bear going into town and causing more problems is surprising. I would have preferred that they relocated the bear, but that's just me.
Well, you know what?
Bobcats,
they probably put the post office and the trading post and the little diner there 2 years ago. That's probably the part they left out. You know what I mean?
Talking funny bear stories. One I seen the other day was this old bear was scratching his back on a post. It had some kind of clothesline or something on it that was stretchy. And he got a hold of it and he pulled it and it slipped out of his claw and come around and smacked him in the groin. And he went down and he was all kinds of flopping underground because they hit him in the nuts. And he walked off and he was doing all kinds of wobble. And then he laid down on the ground and was wobbling, scratching his belly on the ground because, it caught himself in the gonads.
That explains why Jennifer, she had a cat in the carrier and the bobcat was rabid. That'll do it. I mean, I would have preferred that they caught the bear and tested to see if there's something wrong with it. Just because an animal attacks and kills somebody isn't a reason to kill the animal. Although with a bear, if they've killed a person, then they kind of think of people more as food.
The person in the tent is a taco to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get a taste for blood, they're done. Don't keep doing it.
Yeah, they don't go back.
I don't understand. See, if I'm going to go to an area, I learn about the wildlife, which, generally in North America, I know about the wildlife here. But if I was going to another country, say I was going to Brazil, okay, and I was going to be going into, well, in this fantasy, I have both legs, okay, because there's no way I could do it now. But say I was going on some kind of, little trip into the jungle, I would learn about all of the things that are in that jungle that could potentially kill me. And I would make sure that I behaved appropriately so that I didn't bring it on myself, that I didn't cause it. You know what I mean? So if something does happen, it's not anything I instigated unintentionally or whatever. You learn about the areas and you learn about the animals and you respect their life. It's their home. So I don't understand why other people.
A normal bear with a normal temperament, you can get pretty close to them without them even knowing you're there. They don't see so good. You actually have the opportunity to get away.
They have really good noses, though, so you have to be careful whether it's standing upwind or downwind.
So don't fart.
No.
Yeah, I said that.
Jennifer. Guy realized what he had and threw that sucker. Yeah. I don't know. Most of the people that are injured in bear attacks are because the person has done something that has attracted the bear.
Oh, I agree.
So that's why I asked what the woman was doing when she got attacked, or what she had done. That's why I asked, because 9 times out of 10, it's because the person either through ignorance or just hubris has done something that
you're ignorant.
You're ignorant.
You're ignorant.
And there is a difference between ignorance and stupidity. Ignorance is fixable. Stupid isn't.
Gee, that's in a complete subdivision, Jennifer, that video, huh? You never
See,
know what's hiding in your bushes.
Kimmy, that would have driven me crazy too. It really would have. I mean, I knew about this area except for the bobcat thing. I didn't know that that's what they sounded like when they screamed, so that freaked me out. But I did learn real quick. You know, and I had to learn about the snakes here because up in Massachusetts I didn't encounter copperheads and cottonmouth, all that crap. I didn't. Or
There are
brown
very,
recluses.
very few rattlers in Massachusetts as well.
Yeah,
Very.
there's not that many up there.
I've
So-
seen 2 here so far.
I mean, when the first day we drove down to look at the house, the trailer that we were going to buy, there was a long black tube that stretched from one side of the driveway all the way to the other, and we couldn't see the end of it. I'm like, well, shit, someone left a garden hose in the middle of the driveway. What are they doing? Yeah, as we got closer to it, it moved. It was a black snake, and it was about 8.5 to 10 feet long.
Oh, you want one of those on your property. They're never going to
And
bother
I
you.
was like, oh, look, we already have our first renter. Like, they better pay their way. He actually lived under our trailer.
Yeah,
for
those
about
black
3 or 4
snakes who live their whole life in an area, they're never going to bother you. Once in a while, they'll look in your door, and they just eat everything in sight. That's a good snake to have.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see the point to them. I'm going to sit here,
when
wait
we-
till you get close. I'm going to bite you.
When we after we had moved in, we didn't see him again. And I was like, well, I hope he's still around because they'll kill venomous snakes, you know. And since we had a creek, we had a little creek on the back of our property. I knew that there would be water moccasins and whatever. So, you know, cottonmouths and shit like that. So I was like, this
Until you got a crick in your neck.
yeah, I'm gonna have one of those too. Also, I had a pain in the ass, but you know, he was helpful.
I got a crick in the backyard and got a crick in my neck.
So
Two crick
after
man.
we had gotten all moved out, we went out on the back deck, which we had a pretty good sized back deck. It was nice. And I walked over to the you know, just walked straight out the back door, and I was leaning on the railing, and I happened to glance over, and I looked at the, you know, crawl space door that was on the ground, and the black snake was all curled up around on it, sunning. And I was like, oh, hello. I was like, feel free. So he lived under our house for years. It was great.
Guys, I'm gonna have to go to bed. I'm passing out right here.
Okay, Willow. Sweet dreams.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.
If I hear anything else, I'll send you a message. If nobody else does, well, I'll send you a
Awesome.
message anyway. Okay.
Yeah, send me one because I haven't been getting them from anybody else.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody. Love you guys.
Yeah.
See you on the flip side.
Burn, baby, burn, disco inferno. You know, a lot of wildfires are started by just the heat generated from the mulch in the woods as well. They just
Yes.
classify everything as human started, and they're pretty irresponsible by saying that. But I would have to imagine a good 3/4 of it are from some idiot flying down the highway, clicking their cigarette out the window.
Yeah.
But don't forget, you put a compost bin in your backyard, that thing
Mhm.
gets to 200 freaking degrees.
Yeah, it does. My dad had a compost pile out next to his shed when we lived in Massachusetts, and my mom had been growing rhubarb in her garden. I don't know why it was in the flower garden, but that's what it was.
Rhubarb.
And rhubarb.
Rhubarb.
And she got tired of it because the plant wasn't growing like she wanted it to. So my dad just pulled it out of the ground. Wasn't taking care. He wasn't going to transplant it. Pulled it out of the ground, threw it in the compost heap. That thing was huge. It grew huge. I caught my neighbor. I was looking out my window one night, and I saw my next door neighbor sneaking over into the yard. And I'm like, what is she doing? And she came out from behind where the shed was with an armful of rhubarb.
Ugh,
And I'm like,
what happened there?
What? And so I told my mom the next day, I'm like, you know, Susie's mom was in our backyard last night. And she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, came out of there with a bunch of rhubarb. And she's like, let's go see what's going on. So we walk out to the backyard, and she looked at the rhubarb plant, and she goes, oh my God. You know, because it was still huge. I mean, even though the woman harvested an armful of rhubarb, it was still huge. So my mom went over and talked to her and told her she could have it as long as it was producing, she could have all the rhubarb she wanted.
Rhubarb.
So the woman made the most awesome strawberry and rhubarb pies.
Yeah, stolen pies. That's good.
So she used to bring us.
Go to the Italian guy next door and steal his freaking pie crust.
She used to bring us a rhubarb pie like once a month. It was awesome.
I gotta. Guys, keep your eyes open. In 2 weeks, make sure you find out where Goose is because it all starts out with they were a young couple experiencing life. They took a mini vacation to the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
One went in, one came out.
Goose feathers
Well,
everywhere.
Jimmy, otherwise known as Borderline Horrorish, went to the mountains with Chris, otherwise known as the Goose.
Poor
The
Goose.
Goose hasn't been seen. And Kimmy says, I don't know what happened. He left me when he said, I'm going to go get some water, and that was it. Meanwhile, remains have been found 3 feet away from her tent, and she refuses to leave.
I'm never going camping with Kevin. I'll tell you that right now.
They say dark at night and you walk through the campgrounds, you hear the sound of an auctioneer going, 1 moment to egg, all in, all done. And that's the voice of the spirit of Chris the Goose.
I do want to again mention to anybody that doesn't know that Robin is in the hospital. She went to the hospital last night. She was feeling dizzy and really nauseous and had Devin call 911. And this morning, the update is that Robin has to get a blood transfusion. She has low hemoglobin, and that's all they know. So, any prayers or positive energy and whatever you do. Yeah.
Kimmy, you need a shovel? Go to Home Depot, get 1 bag of lime and a plastic tarp, a clear one.
Yeah.
After you hit him on the head with the shovel and you dig in the hole, it's good to have the hole dug ahead of time. It makes life a lot easier. And you wrap them up in the tarp. Before you close it up, you throw the bag of lime on them, stick them in the ground, and they won't find them in 6 months. I seen it in a movie. Yeah, that was it. I seen it in a movie.
You're better off digging the hole near a septic system. Because
It's a shitty job.
yeah, but the dogs can't scent it that way. Anyway.
Who let the dogs out? Woof, woof.
Yeah. Yeah, Jennifer, she just, I don't know when she started feeling bad, but apparently she realized something was wrong. So she's not taking any chances anymore, which is good. I'm glad she didn't.
Probably lightheaded and dizzy.
Yeah, she was. She was getting really dizzy and feeling really nauseous. I know Rhonda told a lot of people on Sandy's channel last night, but I just wanted to give people the update that she has to have a blood transfusion. Hopefully they're going to figure out what the problem is. Yeah.
Well, Cody's telling us in this channel.
Yeah, I'm telling you now. Rhonda sent me a message. That's how I knew.
Everyone's at that point in their life. If you don't feel good, call the guy up and say, can you please come get me?
Yep.
Come get me. I'm not feeling
good. She will, Robin. She absolutely is strong, and she will.
It took a massive asthma attack for me to go to the hospital in April when I knew I wasn't breathing good for 4 days. What an idiot.
Yeah, when I had the fluid retention problem, I waited way too long. I couldn't even I could get my ass in the car and I could get one foot partially in the car. I could not get both of my feet in the car. I couldn't lift my legs because I had so much fluid just.
Yeah, I had the same problem until they started giving me the furosemide and doubled it up. What people don't understand, Cody, is that you could look like 4 days. Yeah, 4 days. Go and be started, Jennifer. Like I was sleeping like this. I didn't realize. I said, oh, maybe I got pneumonia. I said, but there was no fluid coming out. Well, it was just all histamine that clogged my lungs.
Mm-hmm.
But people understand, like somebody could be 200 pounds and you get out of control fluid retention, you'll be 300 pounds in 2 months. I mean, it goes up through your legs, through your knees, through your thighs. It just goes through your whole body. And then you sit there and go, well, you can only drink 32 ounces of water a day. And you're like, well, what the fudge, man? I'm dying here.
Yeah.
And you wonder, how does that happen? But it does. It just happens.
She absolutely has them, Rhonda. My candle is lit. I had to put it out a little bit when I slept, but I relit it this morning. Absolutely.
Oh,
I love Robin.
I got the storage place calling. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, when I had my fluid retention, it was like it felt like I was freaking out. It felt like all of my fat solidified. Like my stomach was one solid block. It was like a turtle shell. I couldn't bend because it would cut into my lungs. Then when they put me on the stretcher to put me in the ambulance, they tried to lay me flat and I couldn't breathe. I was freaking out because I could not draw in any air, and they had to elevate the back of it so that I could breathe. It was not fun, and they put me on two different um, intravenous fluid retention medications, and yeah, 35, almost 40 pounds of fluid in a week gone. I lost, and let me tell you, my cells did not like that. It hurt. I had a lot of flexibility after that. I was like, oh my God, I forgot what this felt like, but yeah, and I could sleep without waking up, not being able to breathe and all that, but I waited way too long. Because I'm stubborn and I don't like hospitals, and I ended up in one for 5 days. It sucked. So, but now I can tell if I'm starting to get the fluid retention. I'm aware of what it feels like now, so I'll, either take an extra one of my pills that I still have, or try and flush my system. Nobody's home. So, yep. But so far, so good. I mean, I gained the weight back because of the food that I've have no choice in eating. It's very high carb food, but at least I can move. You know what I mean? Like, you get that much fluid retention, you have a hard time wiping your own ass. Trust me, it's not a good thing at all. Quality of life is like zero. Yeah, Tina, I had to pile up. I mean, I had my body pillow folded in half. I had a blanket. And then I had both of my pillows, and I was having to sleep, reclined either on my side so that like my entire upper body was at an angle, or I'd end up on my back. Anyway, I always end up on my back. I don't know why. I start up on my side because it's more comfortable, and I end up on my back. So when I wake up, my back is always in pain. But that's how I was having to sleep. Now I don't have to. So. Mia?
Well, it's been kind of noisy here, so that's why I've been muted for the most part.
Ah, okay.
And the dog's over here trying to bury his freaking food dish again.
I hear him. I'm like, hi, Oscar.
Of course, Tim was in here, and he's in here trying to cough up a lung or whatever the hell it was he was doing.
Yeah. It's very quiet in my house right now because nobody's here but me and the animals.
Yeah, and your animals are not trying to, run some kind of 500-mile race up in there. Shh. I know.
Oh, notice right here.
Yeah.
He did when he came to bring the dog, and I was like, hey, could you very carefully open the door and grab that lampshade off the floor for me? And he did it without even a peep. Nothing last night. I'm like, wow, you're kissing ass hard. So he put it right there. Cats.
Yeah.
Onyx is over on my lamp box. Simi, of course, the princess passed out on my pillows.
Oscar, for Christ's sake, knock it off.
So. The vengeful part of me wants to get in the wheelchair, go out there, and find out what he bought to eat for himself, and then eat it. Just to be a bitch, because that's what he does with all my food.
or drink it.
Right.
Because that's what he does.
Hi, Rhonda.
I love
That owl was so cute.
I was sitting there watching her when she was on Susanna's yesterday. Was it her and Robin? That's what I said. I was watching Susanna's, and it's like her and Robin were on there, and like I was watching Robin. I'm like, I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary with Robin. I mean, she wasn't as hyper as she usually is, but I didn't notice anything other than that out of the ordinary. But I just figured maybe she was tired. But I do wish nothing but positive energy for her, and they get things figured out.
Yeah. I'm glad that she's paying attention to her body and her internal systems and stuff, so that she could, tell that something was off. So it's good that she made that call, to get help. I'm worried about her. Are you just going to sit there and look cute, Rhonda?
Yep.
Okay.
Although I have to say, I did get a kick out of your circus master for the not my circus, not my monkeys thing.
The monkey or the
circus
things?
The circus master with the top hat and everything.
Yeah, that was fun.
The ringmaster. Jennifer, the little vindictive part of me wants to do that, but I'm not a vindictive person, so I can't do that. Unless he got something really good, and then I'll only eat half of it.
See, Jennifer, she's not like me.
It makes me really happy to have these evil little thoughts in my head. I'm like, he's not home. I can go in there and eat whatever I want, whether it's his or not, because he doesn't have any boundaries when it comes to something that I get for myself. That's why I keep stuff in my room. I mean, I had a box of those Nesquik little chocolate milk things that Tina got for me, and I kept them in my room for the longest time. I didn't even open the box. And no, he doesn't care when he eats my stuff. He finally, really? Thanks. There goes my lampshade again.
Uh-huh.
She just can't leave shit alone. And, he was like, hey, what are those? Because he came in through the other door and he saw them on the floor, and I told him what they were. He's like, you want me to put them in the fridge? And I'm like, but they're mine. He goes, can I try one? And I was like, you don't like Nesquik chocolate milk. It gives you, heartburn. And he goes, yeah, but I might be able to drink those. I'm like, well, you're not drinking them. They're mine. And I think I've had 3 out of all of them. And he drinks them and then goes, oh, yeah, I drank one. I meant to tell you. No, it's called, you asked me if you can have one. They're mine. The last time I was out there, when I was out there on Friday, I had 2 left. I probably don't have any left now. So this is why I can't. The only thing I put out there, and I have no choice, is like if I'm able to get ice cream or something, and I have to put it in the freezer. But I get the pints, the little ones. I pay more for them, but that way I don't have a half gallon sitting in there that he can grab chunks out of, because he's been known to do that too. And I hate that. It's like if I buy something for myself, it's for me. It's not for you. It's for me. And he'll just. So. But, he eats stuff that I don't like. Like, he likes spicy things and, like, barbecue chips and things like that, and I don't eat that stuff, so.
True that.
Yeah. But the planning of it, the plotting of it in my head makes me happier. I just don't execute because I'm not the kind of person, I'm the kind of person that if someone paid my way for 2 months, I'd make sure that I was paying them back. But apparently, that doesn't fall off my tree. Yeah, I'm going to be bitter about that for a while. I mean, a perfect example is when Tina had helped me out with getting some groceries, and she actually ordered me a gallon of chocolate milk. I didn't even know that she did that until it showed up, and I got one glass like this when we were done on putting groceries away. He poured me one glass. It was like a little 6-ounce glass. That's all I got out of that whole gallon. A couple of days later, we were having burgers and fries, and I was like, "Hey, can you grab me a glass of chocolate milk?" He goes, I'm like, "You better not have drank all that." I was like, My friend got us that, and you better not have drank the whole damn thing, because I was willing to share it with you, not give it all to you." He goes, "Well, I was thirsty." Water. I'm like, fuck. This is my life.
It's true. And she uses that as a reference point now.
Yep, chocolate milk. So whenever you hear me say, "Yep, I'm gonna hold on to that one for a while," chocolate milk. Yeah, that's what it's about. Yep.
And I'm like, oh.
I mean, at least ask me, but he doesn't. And then he pulls. Well, Dad always said it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. I said, no, when it comes to my shit. That's if you're going to punch someone in the face, not if you're going to eat my food. You little prick.
And he's not so fucking little.
No, he's not. Seriously, no word of a lie. That boy eats about 3/4 of the food that comes in this house. I get about 1/4 of it, regardless of who pays for it. And yesterday I got to the point. He was being so cruel to me that I got to the point where I told him, "Then get the fuck out. If you don't want to be here." What?
I said hi to Casual.
Oh. Yeah. Who do you? I told him, I was like, "Then get the fuck out. Leave your dog here. Come here and put the dogs out a couple times a day. Pay half of your rent for your dog." I was like, and utilities, because you got to leave the light on for the dog, so you got expenses. The dog needs water, so you can do your laundry here, whatever. But get the fuck out. I had it. My tolerance is at an end. I can't do it anymore. So his reality is about to change, and he's not going to like it. I also told him to get my damn tables back, because he gave my folding tables to his friend Hector. And they're really good folding tables. And if he had asked if Hector could borrow them until they could get tables to eat on, I would have been fine, but he didn't. He just said, here. They were not his to give away. So I told him, I said, get my damn tables back. Hector and his wife both have jobs. They make decent money. Tell him to go to the thrift store and get a fucking table. Fuck.
I believe I heard his phone ring a bit ago. So
oh yeah, Kevin's on the phone. He'll be back.
How are you today, Maureen?
Yeah, don't mean it's not right.
Gonna lend out his gaming system, see how he likes it.
Right.
The neighbor across the way needed an extra controller, so I lent your controller out, dude. Sorry.
I'll set that stuff up in my room, and he'll be like, "My PS4, what the fuck's it doing in here?" Well, you weren't using it, so I figured I could use it. I felt like playing one of my games, so I brought it in here.
I would have been sold it.
So, sell his $400 fucking gaming monitor I bought instead of paying rent. Yeah, I'm gonna be bitter about that fucking blow up yesterday for a long time. He was really, I mean, he was very cruel and he crossed all the lines. You know what I'm saying? So
But over the last year, the lines that he has crossed, and then plus yesterday's, yeah, no, way past done.
so
Oh,
ah, ugh,
that owl just came really close. Hello.
yeah, dude. Hi,
Hey.
Houdini.
I was reading Kevin's shirt.
Oh, here, hold on. I can make it bigger.
I read it
There
already.
you go.
Thanks.
Oh, all right. You're welcome. Just, you should have told me. I would have made it bigger for you. Yeah, I've seen those. That they have the Massachusetts on the bottom and shit like that.
In the jump rope.
Oh, Jennifer, that would have pissed me off so bad.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. No. Sorry. I found out yesterday why my mouth was still giving me problems after I got the abscess out of this side. It had moved to the other side and the inside. So I had to get that shit out so it's still a little tender. I'm like, ah. Yeah, Jennifer, I mean, that's the kind of bullshit that I deal with, you know? I mean, he kept the microwave that the shitheads had gotten for Christmas, right? When they were moving all that stuff out, he's like, oh, cool, I have a new microwave, and brought it in and put it up on my bookcase. He's like, here, I got you a new microwave. I'm like, cool, because I was going to set it up in my craft room, right? Yeah, apparently Hector and Dorothea's microwave died during one of our power outages. The fuse in the microwave itself blew, and so he came in and got the microwave, and I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, oh, Hector and Dorothea need a microwave. And he walked out the door with it. I'm like, you gave that to me. And they owe me a crap ton of money because those little fuckers owe me over $600. I was sitting there going, well, they owe me $600 and all I got was a $50 microwave, but, you know, whatever. And I didn't even get that. I'm like, the fuck, you know? I don't understand the mentality where it's just like, oh, look, I have this and you need this, and even though it doesn't belong to me, I'll give it to you. I don't get that. And I'm like, you shouldn't do that. He did the same thing with my lamp that I use for my jewelry making. I mean, I have this lamp that comes up and over, so it hangs down, so I don't have all the shadow. And he just lent it to the roommates when they were here. And I'm like, I went through the living room and instantly noticed my lamp wasn't there. And I'm like, where's my lamp? He's like, oh. So then I asked Jill, and she's like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, so then I asked Jason. He goes, oh, yeah, John lent that to us. And I'm like, what? He goes, did you need it back? I'm like, well, I don't need it right now, but he shouldn't have lent it to you. It wasn't his to lend. He goes, oh, he said since you're not using it, you wouldn't mind. I'm like, well, I do mind. And when they moved out, my lamp was on the floor on its side. So I don't even know if it still works because I haven't plugged it in yet. I'm afraid to plug it in to see if it works. So, yeah, thanks. And I've talked to him about this a dozen times. Do not give away stuff that's not yours. Ask me first. You should know what belongs to you and what doesn't. Really. My cat's starting to have a cat. And he's still doing it. I'm like, give away his damn gaming chair and his bed. See how he likes it. I'll have nothing to sit on.
what, darling?
And like I said, I'm not calculating up everything that he owes me because when I see that amount, it's going to piss me right the fuck off even more. So I'm not doing it. I know I'm not getting the money, so I'm not calculating it.
Hey,
pointless to irritate myself even more, you know? That's kind of like, oh, look, I cut open my arm. Let's poke it.
No problem.
Yeah, it's not right.
That's fine, sir. No. All right, buddy. Be safe. Bye. He's on his way. He had to take her to the hospital.
Oh no.
She had to have some tests done.
Maureen, if I had the money to be able to do that, I would not have to worry about living on my own. But the water and the electric went up this last month that I had to, beginning of the month when I had to pay it, it had gone up because he's working, so he's doing laundry using electricity and water. And so those both went up, and I was $25 short on rent. My mom lent it to me, so I wouldn't. I mean, my landlord probably would have understood and let us pay it off or whatever, but my mom gave it to me. So, and now she reminds me about giving it to me. Yeah, if Maureen, I only get $814 a month. And this house rent and utilities usually run $850, $860, something like that if we're lucky. So if I can get making my jewelry and people actually want to buy it, I can supplement my income and actually, you know, not stress so much. But I keep getting delayed. Every time I turn around, there's a delay, and it's pissing me off. I gotta wait another 2 months to get my wheelchair. You know, I have started wrapping my leg again, so hopefully that'll get going again, and I won't have any more delays on that. My patience is starting to run out. Seriously, this is ridiculous. But
Ex-husband. Gotcha.
yeah, rent for the house that I live in is $525. And Tina's actually looked in my area to see if there's anything cheaper. Not that I can actually move out physically, like I have no way to do it, but she's at, and there's nothing cheaper than this in my area,
No.
you know. And I've looked into those places where they are like handicapped accessible. Everything is done for, you know, worked around for people in wheelchairs and things like that. And the cheapest one in the worst area of town is $1,500 a month.
I about had a freaking heart attack. And we have a dinosaur.
Alrighty then. We do. Although that dinosaur should be a fluffy bunny, prehistoric fluffy bunny, but you know, hey, whatever works for you. My show is turning into a filter show. Okay. Welcome, little dinosaur. So the dinosaur and the owl are just gonna sit here and look cute.
Hi, dinosaur. At least it ain't Barney Purple. I dig the owl, though. That's awesome.
Alrighty then.
Is the dinosaur talk?
Jennifer's like, oh, I thought Larry was here.
This is so cool.
Yeah, the voice totally gives it away, but the dinosaur is cute.
And then this is the first show I tried this on.
Yay! I'm honored.
This is. I wanted to see if it would work.
Yep. Apparently it does.
And it
dear.
does.
I'm like, this is interesting. Yeah, you don't want to see the first picture that I had. It just comes up automatic. I don't know why.
What's up, Mr. Stash?
Oh my goodness. This is weird.
Larry's gonna have fun with filters now.
Well, this didn't come up until I typed the word in.
Jennifer.
It kind of looks like a. Yeah, Jennifer. Why do you think I was going? It kind of looks like a turtle without a shell, though. It doesn't really. Oh, there you go.
I don't know if I can find a turtle. Oh,
I mean,
Larry.
wow, that is weird.
I had a phone call.
Your chin is all stretched out.
I had no idea what I'm doing with this thing.
Whoa.
That's scary, Larry.
Yeah, I had no idea what I'm doing with this yet.
Well, it's stretched out your face.
yeah.
It's a warp.
We lost Kevin. Yeah, that fisheye effect always freaks me out.
I don't know.
There you go.
Dinosaurs on his glasses.
Oh my God. It'll definitely take some getting used to on this thing.
I think Darlene is wondering if you got if the phone call was an update.
Yeah, well, either somebody uploaded a video or somebody went
Yep, the
live.
dinosaur disappeared.
It's either somebody uploaded a video or somebody went live. Oh,
My
shit.
damn internet is being a pain in the ass.
We had thunderstorms all last night. I enjoyed it.
Okay. Wow. I guess I got to let me kill the volume on this side. I forgot I had the
You know
volume.
what's killing me? Is that dinosaur has got the shakes.
Well, even though I did have a child and a mother abduction last night alert.
Is it, or
That's
is it
not
just
good.
me?
And they even gave the description of the kid, the mom, and the vehicle. Too bad dinosaur doesn't have wings. I can't move the arms at all. That's messed up.
Jennifer, Tim goes the 27th to see the ear, nose, and throat specialist doctor person at 1:30 in the afternoon, and then at 3 o'clock he goes back that same day and sees the neurosurgeon.
Oh,
Yes,
okay, Jennifer.
We
Okay.
don't know much. This past Wednesday, he went and seen our general practitioner, and she basically told him that her opinion is that all of these specialists, the reason they keep giving him the runaround is that they don't have a clue, one, as to what's going on.
Okay, Jennifer, maybe it was a dad and a kid. I thought it was a mom and a kid. And it was a long Amber Alert that they typed in there.
What we've done in Damon's room, well, I can't say we because I haven't done anything. They've tore out the closet completely, so there's no closet. We're putting in shelving, so he'll have a dresser and shelves, so we can put baskets, so he can put stuff in baskets and what have you. And he'll have his bed and his desk and the TV and all that stuff in there. So, then also putting in the new vinyl flooring and painting the room. All of the holes have been fixed, patched.
And he better not damage it once all this work is done.
I ain't holding my breath.
Jennifer, you're talking about things going on with Tim with his health?
Yeah, Jennifer,
They're still,
you have no
they're
idea.
still trying to find somebody. They're still trying to find somebody who can figure out what the fuck is going on. None of these experts seem to know.
Yeah, none of the specialists seem to have a fucking clue.
From what our general doctor told me the other day, is the ear, nose, and throat is their last straw to see if these tumors need to be removed, because they're thinking that it's pushing on the optical nerve, causing the eyesight. As far as the shaking and the headaches, they have no clue. They're none whatsoever. They have not done any other test anywhere. They haven't done any other course of anything to figure out where it's coming from. I tell them that the shaking stimulates from my core, from my insides, from my my trunk, my stomach, my back. That area is where all the shaking comes from. It originates in that area. That's where it, and they just look at me like I'm crazy. Yes, I have back issues, so I don't know if I have something to do with it or not. I have no clue. But they're focusing on my eye, thinking it's going to fix the issue. Well, fine and dandy. The first time I seen that eye specialist did, he put in his notes, but never said anything to me or Tina that day that I had cataracts. Okay, so when I went and seen the neurosurgeon, he read that I had cataracts causing my blurred vision and so forth and so on. Okay, when I went back to this eye doctor dude again, this last time I said, okay, what about these cataracts? Can you take them out or whatever? He's like, what cataracts? There's no cataracts in your eyes. I'm like, that's what you put in the report that the damn neurosurgeon read. He's like, you don't have any signs of cataracts in your eyes. I don't know where you got that from. I said, it's in your report that you gave to the neurosurgeon. I was like, what the hell? He's like, well, I must have put that somewhere it shouldn't have been. I'm like, well, you think? And I was like, I looked at him, I'm like, you're right? He's like, I'm sorry, but no, there's no signs of cataracts in your eyes. I'm like, okay, so why was it in my report? He's like, it's just an honest mistake. I got it in the wrong report. I'm like, gee, thanks.
Yeah.
Now my neurosurgeon thinks I've got cataracts causing my issues. He's like, no, you don't have any cataracts. I'm like, okay then. So you need to tell him that. And I'm like, gee, Minnie.
And my favorite part of it was that the eye doctor was telling him to open his left eye all the way. And he's like, it is open all the way. Doctor's like, no, it's not. And he's like, then the eye doctor's like, well, have you had a stroke? Because it's drooping. And Tim's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no clue. You know, you're not a specialist. Do more tests and find out. I have no idea.
Oh my goodness, Darlene, we've been to 2 neurologists and the neurosurgeon, an endocrinologist, and the only one that seems to manage to get anything actually done is our general practitioner.
Yeah, and she's just
And she's a nurse practitioner.
yeah. And when I seen her Wednesday, she wants me to see these doctors on the 27th. And if we can't figure anything out from these two again, from the ear, nose, and throat, and the neurosurgeon again, the same one I've seen 3 times now, this will be the 4th. If we don't get anything from them, then yeah, she's going to find me somebody else to go at all this again. So it's just it's nuts. You know, even like I was telling our regular doctor, because she asked me how my pain was doing and stuff with the headaches. I'm like, there's days that it's a 4 or 5. The Topomex covers it for the most part. I said, then there's days it's a 7 or 8. And I said, I ain't gonna lie to you. I do smoke a little stash every now and then. One of those bad days. She's like, does it help? I said, oh yeah. I could go 6-8 hours without having a headache or anything. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I said, but I still shake like a leaf on a tree. She's like, really? That doesn't take it away. I'm like, no. Tina will come through and she'll, ask me to please stop or reposition because I'm shaking the whole house, sitting, 30 feet away from her. I'm still shaking the whole house. And she's like, wow. I'm like, yeah. And the shaking doesn't stop even if I, smoke some. And she's like, something else is wrong somewhere. We'll get you figured out. Just get through the 27th and we'll get you figured out.
Oh, Darlene, we don't have insurance. We have public assistance medical. So you're kind of stuck with what you get around here.
Illinois sucks.
And Illinois sucks. Believe me.
If I could get to St. Louis, yeah, I'd go to St. Louis because there's better doctors down there for sure. But our insurance won't cover it. And I'm not going to go spend a week in Chicago, 5 hours away to see doctors up there because, yeah, no, I'm just not going to go to Chicago. It just, I could get to Peoria, I could get to Champaign, they're within 2 or 3 hours, but in Chicago, I don't want to have to deal with traveling that far. Tina's health ain't all that great. She can't get around all that well. Yeah, I can slap her butt in a wheelchair and push her around, but she's the one that's got to drive, and an hour or so in the car, she's got to get out, stretch, and walk around if she don't fall over in the process. We're just kind of screwed. And she don't like me driving because I can't see where I'm going.
Mm-mm.
So, I just, I don't know.
Yep. New rant.
It's just, yeah.
It's frustrating as fuck is what it is.
Yes. Trust me, Jennifer. Yeah, it's been about a week since I've had some, but I was so damn tired last night, I just came to bed and died. I woke up about 3:30 this morning, tossed and turned for about an hour and a half, and finally passed back out. But tonight will definitely be a night. Thank you, Darlene. And same for you as well, dear, because I know you've got stuff going on, and you got to have surgery coming up, I believe, still. And, Jennifer, with you and your daughter and your family and everything, and, it just, everybody's got problems, and it just all needs to stop.
Yeah, I agree. But at least with people talking about what's going on with them, that other people know they're not alone. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make me feel better to know that somebody else is going through medical frustrations or life frustrations, but it makes me feel good that I'm not the only one.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Kind of like a camaraderie type of thing. I wish none of us had to go through any of this.
Okay, Darlene. Well, we'll definitely keep you in our bestest wishes and prayers and such.
Yeah,
Yes,
like
Jim,
Tim said, definitely.
I know there's other doctors out there. We just got to find the right ones.
Yeah, ones that know what they're doing would be good.
And unlike 10 years ago, whenever it was, at least with all this, I know who I am and where I'm at. All that episode, years ago, I had no clue what I was for 6 months. I was a vegetable. My lights were on, but nobody was home.
Oh, Lord, that was a nightmare.
And it just,
So, yeah, he's had problems with his head for a long time. So
something screwy up there somewhere, and it just, this is just a different bottle, different bottle of
hey, Wes,
Hey, Wes.
with it.
we're bitching about medical issues.
I was bitching about my son, and we're all giving prayers for everybody that's going through rough medical times. We gave out the update on Robin, and
Hey, Wes,
yeah,
question. Have you seen any kind of crazy floating around?
Hey, Kristen. Yep, that is.
Well, Wes didn't come in here. Yes, it is. It is Larry. Wes Wes didn't come in here with his birds of prey, so yeah, Rhonda, exactly. We don't need no kind of crazy up in here.
Oh, it's just so funny though. I mean, because usually he comes in and he asks, so I figured I'd ask him if
Yeah.
he'd been
Oh,
seeing.
hey, Wes. This isn't an auction, by the way.
Yes, this is not an auction. We are not selling owls or dinosaurs. They are not for sale.
Dinosaur glasses.
Larry is having fun with filters.
Larry, you're hilarious, sir.
Sell the dino. Oh, now the pink. Yeah, apparently not, Wes. She never shows up here.
Oh, hey, Marie. That's scary, Larry.
That's not an ant. It looks like an ant, but it's not an ant.
I just trying to figure out how to turn this off and just have me on. Apparently, I had to leave and switch over to the camera and then come back, I think.
You guys are idiots.
Rhonda, that owl is just awesome.
It is. It's a very cute little owl.
I think its wings get really tired though.
I would
Very
think
happy my
think.
buddy found them.
he's going to have to roost sooner or later.
That owl's kind of got the bumblebee effect going on because those wings are really tiny and that owl's got a really big head.
Yeah.
It's like super wings.
The feet are my favorite.
Yeah, I love the feet.
Ah,
So, Rhonda, how do you bring your picture back in? Do you have to leave and then switch over to the webcam and then come back?
No. You just shut it off. That little round thing on the the dino image is up. There's a little circle. If you click that little circle in the image, it goes down and it'll turn it off.
I talk about that gear circle.
No, in all the little pictures,
Okay.
when you go from different pictures, when you click on a picture, the little round thing goes up to the middle of the picture. Click that little round so it goes down. So in your let me get out of my favorites. Underneath you are all the pictures of all the different lenses.
Okay.
So click on a different lens. Then click on that lens again and it'll shut it off. There you go.
Oh, cool. Oh,
And Jennifer, he's hunting crazies because she said in her little video about him that any chat he went into, she would go to, and she would bring her people there to troll, and they would kick Wes out because they would be not want to tolerate the trouble that he brings to their chats. So that's why.
cool.
What, Jennifer? She can't enjoy her vacation by coming in and saying hi to all of us? Hotness with the bikinis. Oh, I have to do this for her. That's my hotness.
So Robin is actually getting her blood transfusion right now as we speak.
Okay. So if you got prayers,
As bad as it sounds, she's literally only getting blood.
Yeah.
So if you were getting like fluids, it's
Right.
just a bag of blood.
Quite possibly, Jennifer.
Yeah, absolutely, Jennifer. It's the only one that's spelled that way.
Yeah. She threatened him big time, Jennifer. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's only like 5 minutes long.
Yep.
If it's still up.
So
And
But
if
they
it's taken
haven't-
down, let me know. I can still share it with you.
they haven't figured out what caused it yet, Rhonda?
No.
Oh yeah, Jennifer. He got his own little 5-minute video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Amy, are you flying or driving?
They're
they're
driving.
Okay, okay. And that picture, those pictures she shot, looks like an airplane.
They're bees.
Yeah, they're bees. Yes, hotness. Larry has fallen down the rabbit hole of filters.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to see if it was work. Yeah, Rhonda and Robin were having a ball a couple of days ago in the back room. I'm like, okay, well, this does not work on my Windows 7 because it said it can only work on 10 and above. So okay, I downloaded I think day before yesterday,
Mm.
and I wanted to see if it would work.
This is Larry's filter debut on my channel.
Yeah.
I mean, this is interesting.
Someone has bad reverb. I don't know who, but it's there.
It's probably me.
Oh, big truck. Hold on. Yeah, we were playing with them because when I was going to go live with Robin the other morning, I wanted to have a filter, but not one. I was trying to find one like stars, where the, you know, mouth, and so it just, I would feel more comfortable. And we actually couldn't find one without either doing the whole animated thing.
Yeah.
So I just went live. No edit, no video,
And you were
whatever.
awesome.
No filter. That's what I meant to say. No filter.
And you were awesome.
Thanks.
You're welcome. It
So
was
yeah,
very
we were in the back room, in the green room, probably 3 hours going through filters.
Yeah, they
Larry
were
got to experience the fun with us.
they were going nuts.
And that is how Hootie Hoo came to be, because Robin found Hootie Hoo for me.
Oh, okay, Amy. I didn't know that. Okay.
Amy, flying is the safest way to travel. You actually took the most unsafe way to travel to Florida.
It's also I'm finding out the easiest.
Oh, look at the love bug.
she's so
I'm
neglected.
looking to go visit my kitten today.
You getting a kitty?
I am. My brother.
Yay.
From your brother?
Remember I showed you the pregnant kitty?
Yeah.
Yeah, she had her kittens.
Oh.
Yay. My neighbor is mowing the lawn, so
And I'm getting the one that's
he couldn't wait another
the only one that was all black.
Nice. The neighbor couldn't wait another half an hour to mow the lawn. He had to do it right now.
In fact, when I went to NOLA, I was hoping to get some recording of air shots, but wouldn't you believe it? Every plane I hit, I was on an aisle seat.
I
Well,
don't hear
see,
anything.
the problem is that they have so many people traveling that would be really expensive for everybody to fly.
And then
Because
the person that was in the window, he decided that they were going to take a nap, so they always closed their that window shade thing. And then the person on the other side of the plane, he had his open, but I mean, the shot wasn't any good.
was the flight fully booked?
Yes.
That sucks. When I flew from Atlanta to California, there were maybe 25 people on the plane. So, well, first class was full, but the rest, I mean, the tickets that I got, I was able to move seats, which was good because there was a big guy next to me
Mhm.
eating Subway like Italian, and he stunk, first of all, and then he just crumpled up his garbage and threw it on the floor of the plane. And I'm like, I cannot be near this guy. I'm like, I asked the flight attendant, I'm like, there are so many empty seats. Can I sit somewhere else? She goes, yeah, go ahead. So I did. So I sat in a window seat.
And then the last plane coming home was, it was in the dark, and once you know, I had the window seat.
No.
I'm like, this just isn't cool. I tried to I could see all the lights on the ground. I'm like, well, let me see if I can take a picture. Well, that didn't work because the camera decided I'm going to turn the flash on.
Yeah. Jennifer's getting freaking reptiles, Tina.
Awesome.
A baby corn snake, ball
Ball
python,
python, a leopard gecko, and a bearded dragon.
Nice.
Welcome
Good collection.
to the zoo.
Yep.
I actually I'm getting a bearded dragon too. Just a little over a year old. For free.
I
The
had
whole thing caged and all the goodies, and I'm excited.
an albino leopard gecko that I named Titan. But when we moved and we were going to have to pay for the electricity, like prepay electricity, that heat lamp, it would have boosted the electric too much. I couldn't afford the crickets, and I couldn't go get them and stuff that. And Jesus. So I had to give him away. I found him a good home, and as far as I know, they still have him. I don't know. They moved, so this cat is mauling me. Every time she moves, she's digging in. Just sit still.
She knows, Mom. She knows.
Ow!
And I would
Head
love
me in
to
the
hear
mouth.
her.
She headbutted me in the mouth.
I love to hear her purr. I love to hear any cat purr.
Mhm.
The dinosaur's going to try to eat the cat.
And yeah,
Back off, Barney.
your service is going to be crap. It's going to be spotty.
There are different kinds of ball pythons.
Yeah, different
Yeah.
morphs.
I actually didn't know that.
Awesomeness and more awesomeness. And then even more awesomeness.
Mine that I have here is a Russo. If I had another Russo that was a female and I mated them, I have a possibility of getting what they call a diamond, which is a white snake with blue eyes.
Okay.
I like ball pythons
Go
because.
ahead and take off. I got stuff to do.
All right, Larry, you have a good
Dinosaur
day.
anymore?
So what now?
So do you mean you can't play with your dinosaur anymore?
Oh no, I
Playtime's
got.
over?
But thank you for coming on and showing us your dinosaur. He's cute.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I was gonna do a different picture, but everybody knows me as a dinosaur, so I was gonna try to do a turtle, but I don't know if I can find one.
Ow.
There are hundreds of thousands
We
of
also have
filters, so
Yeah.
good luck.
Yes.
You saw us, we only went through a few.
It's a
Yeah.
rabbit hole, Larry.
Yeah, I know. I was like I said, I was messing with it yesterday. I was able to go in there by myself and start messing with the pictures. I went into the snap cam in there and started messing with the different pictures. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
But when you and Robin do your show with Gary, be you.
Yeah. Okay, see you later.
Bye.
Yeah, Larry.
Bye, Larry.
Bye, Larry. Oh, the corn snake's albino. That's pretty cool. And she's got a fancy bearded dragon. Has orange in it. That's pretty cool. I like bearded dragons. John wanted a bearded dragon. Of course, John also wanted a water dragon and a Komodo dragon, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to have my leopard gecko. I came out of my room one day, I heard a commotion out in the rest of the house. I came out, I walk in the kitchen, and there's this guy bringing these tanks into the house. I'm like, what are we doing? He goes, oh, I got 2 leopard geckos. Happy birthday. I'm like, what? Then he goes, which one do you want? And there was an albino one with a chomp missing out of its tail. Like, it got bit. And then a regular one. And I'm like, why do you always give me things that I have to feed for the rest of its life? Why? And so I took the albino one because I felt bad because it had that chomp out of his tail. That and the idiot that had him, that supposedly they raise reptiles and breed them and everything, had fish tank rocks in the bottom of the tank. And that was it. There was no lid on it. There was no heat lamps, nothing. I'm like, okay. So I ended up having to invest a crap ton of money, which I walked into the house. I said, I just had to spend $40 getting stuff for this tank. And I looked at John and I went, he never ended up paying the guy. They never came back to get the money for them. I did find out why mine got bit. Genius said he was going to breed them. And for some reason, they didn't get along. Well, it took me 30 seconds to find out that they were both boys. So he put two male leopard geckos in the same tank, expecting them to have sex and babies. I'm like,
Apparently he didn't breed geckos. And it's not hard to sex geckos.
no, it's not. It's really easy. There's literally the dotted lines. I'm like, really? The guy had 3 kids. I'm surprised he knew how to breed. But yeah, supposedly sold snakes and stuff. I'm like, whatever. He didn't know anything about those either. I mean, come on, don't get an animal unless you know what you're doing. You know, research it first, then get the animal. The only time I didn't have a warning to do that was when John walked into the house with a ferret in a rabbit cage, and I'm like, why do you have a really long rat in a cage? I knew what it was. He's like, it's my ferret. I'm like, why? Because I wanted it. You're not the only one who lives here, you know. And then I went down to talk to the guy and get supplies, and he had just gotten in a little girl, and she was big, and she was so cute. And yeah, I brought her home, so we had two. That's just my life. But I set them up in a condo, man. I paid $130 for one of those really tall, multi-level condos. Got her a hammock, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, my ferrets were hooked up. My ferrets were living better than I was.
Right. Your gecko,
Welcome back, Cousins.
your dragon.
Welcome back. Every time I say welcome back, Carter goes through my head.
You're not the only one.
Every time I hear welcome back, I start singing Mace.
Okay.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Had to get your sugar
Nope.
fix.
Never heard of it.
You're not a hip hop listener.
I'm not really too much of a music listener. I end up listening to my son's music when he's either cooking or when he goes to sleep or he's in the bathroom. And I get really happy when I hear, like, you know, Rob Zombie or AC/DC or Ozzy or something. I'm like, that's right. He got those from me.
It's probably like 20 years.
He does have other stuff he listens to that, aside from him, I've never heard of it. But.
Oh, be careful with pairing up bearded dragons. I don't know if you know about bearded dragons, Jennifer. I don't want to make assumptions, so. But be very careful.
I had a pair, but they were rescue, and they were together to begin with. But one wasn't very healthy and ended up passing.
Yeah.
So now I've just got the one, and she's doing fabulous.
After a certain age, the males will fight for territory, and one will wind up biting the tail off of the other one.
Yeah, I know.
So that's it makes for a
I
weird
was,
bearded dragon. Oh, awesome, Jennifer.
Yeah, my leopard gecko had lost his tail at some point because, well, part of it, because it had already grown back, but it was, bulbul tail,
Mm-hmm.
But I did debate breeding him because, he was really pretty, and I was like, you'd make beautiful babies. And I researched it, and I was like, that is way too much fucking work. And I'm like, nope. So I was like, you're going dateless. You will never have sex. I'm sorry.
I hear you, Jennifer.
What did you pay for your Beardy? Because he's a baby.
Although you can put several females with the leopard gecko. You can put several females in with one male. You just can't put the males together.
Maureen, it's the same thing with bettas. 2 males.
Yeah, no.
Well, it also depends on how big the tank is. But you can have multiple females in with a male betta, but 2 males is not a good idea. Unless it's a large tank.
He has such bad timing.
He was on sale for $55. That's a decent price. Oh my word.
Yeah.
That is super cheap. Holy Moses.
I will say I miss watching my leopard gecko wander around, and I loved watching him eat crickets because it was fun to watch. But I wouldn't be able to take care of one now, so no.
Oh, at PetSmart?
I'm having
Yeah,
hard.
you're definitely rescuing animals.
Do you have one, Maureen?
Yeah, you are.
You get a really cheap setup for less than $60. And I mean, they're awesome. I love Bettas. One of my favorite.
Good for her, Maureen, because animals, even reptiles, shouldn't be treated wrong. And if the child can't take care of it correctly and treat it correctly, they shouldn't have it.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why I won't get another pet. I'm having a hard enough time taking care of the pets that I already had before all this bullshit happened. So I definitely would not bring another one into the mix. Plus, I can't afford another one. So, you know,
Yeah, it's not cheap.
It wouldn't be fair to the animal. Not even a fish.
It's not
So
cheap.
I won't do it.
That's for sure.
Damn, Jennifer. I always wanted a Burmese python. There was a gorgeous, gorgeous albino Burmese python, big yellow and white. Oh my God, gorgeous snake. At one of the pet store that they used to have here, you like walk on the door and right next to it was this massive homemade tank cage type of thing set up for it. And he was about 12 feet long. I wanted to play with that snake so bad, and they wouldn't let me because they said it was like an insurance thing.
See,
I said if I bought the snake.
I go to the reptile shows, and you can handle the animals and stuff like that. And that's my favorite thing in the world.
One thing I've always wanted since I was probably 12, maybe younger, I remember 12, is an African gray parrot. I'm too old to get one now, but
no birds.
I so wanted one my whole life.
No birds.
No.
They're too messy for me. And I have childhood trauma from a rooster. Sorry, guys. And it's funny. I do laugh about it.
She has cock trauma. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Yep. I do. I have cock trauma. When you're 5 years old and you're living out in the country and you're the hens and the rooster, they run free, and the rooster stalks your happy ass when you get off the school bus.
Roosters are mean.
They are. They're horrible.
They are mean.
And then the other thing I've always wanted isn't, I can never pronounce this right, oxalotl.
Uh-huh. Oxalotl.
Oxalotl. Those things are freaking...
They are so cool.
They are amazing.
We had when I worked at Debbie's Petland in Massachusetts, they had a peach cockatoo in this giant cage in the middle of the store. And I was the only one the bird liked. And I actually didn't really like birds all that much, but I used to pay attention to her and I would do scritches on her head. All I had to do was walk over to the cage after the third time that she got close enough that I could do it. After that, anytime I got near the cage, all I'd have to do is this. And if she saw me doing this, she would edge over and then stick her head right against the bars so I could do it.
Aww.
That, and she liked it when I plucked her pin feathers, when I took the little tips off the feathers that were growing in, because they get itchy, you know. And so I used to preen the bird. She was all happy with
funny,
me.
Maureen. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But I've actually heard that, and I saw a video recently of that same situation. And the cops got called, and they came expecting, they wanted to do a welfare check, and they were giving the man a hard time.
Yeah.
But the bird had fallen asleep, so he had to go wake the bird up and make her cry. So that way the cops believed that he wasn't beating on a baby in the house.
Yeah,
It was hilarious.
Birds that are able to Birds
I
that are
saw
able to
one.
mimic can get you in trouble.
I saw one where the guy was actually
When-
sitting outside and he was working on his car, and the neighbors thought that he was beating on a woman or a kid or something, and the cops were
Yeah.
called, and he's like, "No, it's just my bird in the house throwing a fit," and they had to go
Yeah.
in and show the cops that it was his bird. I was no good.
Well, the other pet store that I worked at in Massachusetts, they had two macaws. They had a blue and gold, and they had a rainbow macaw. And these birds were so awesome. Although the rainbow macaw
Yeah.
snapped a little plastic thing on my bra, and I had to go home and get a new bra on. He broke my bra. But they were awesome birds, and I loved playing with those birds. If I was going to get a bird, it would be one of those. But they live like 100 years, so you have to leave them to somebody in your will. You know what I mean? Macaws live all those larger parrots live a long time if they're taken care of correctly. So,
Hi, Susie.
hey, Susie. But I mean, then again, you're paying a crap ton of money for them too, and I can't take care of birds. I can't take care of any other animals. I can't deal with any other responsibility than I have right now, and I can't even do that.
I miss having pet rats and pet mice.
But Maureen, on the other hand, if something was happening, they would have rescued somebody. You know what I mean? So they have to check it. It's not a matter. I mean, if I heard somebody I wanted to call the cops on my roommates. The problem was they had friends because he had a warrant. They had friends that listened to a police scanner all the time, and he had shotguns and a handgun in that room. So I would have been dead before the cops even got here. Because his mind was not right. His mind was not right at all. But there were a lot of times he was beating the crap out of his girlfriend, and my instinct was to go in there and knock him out, but all he would have done was just knock over my wheelchair,
They're so cute, Jennifer, and they're so funny. They really are, and they're so cuddly. I love the pet rats. I miss them.
I had to sell too many rats as food, so I didn't try to get close to any rats. We had one guy that had to come in and buy the Siberian dwarf hamsters because that's all his snake would eat. They were $12.99 a pop, and they're little, so he'd have to buy like 4 or 5 to feed his snake. I'm like, damn.
I had bought. This was before I managed to get my boa to stop eating live and go to frozen thawed. I had bought a feeder mouse, and I didn't realize she was prego until I got her home. So then I ended up buying a cage and taking care of the prego mouse. She had her babies, and so I ended up taking care of the babies and stuff, and mama and everybody's. So anyhow, I ended up raising the babies, and as they ended up dying off because they just didn't do well, they don't survive. So I ended up taking care of them, and I had so many of them still survive, and I'd get them out and I'd take them and love on them and pet them, and they just crawled all over. I loved the mouses, and they were handleable, and they were cute. They were just white,
Maureen, ow! Not in this neighborhood play. I don't understand that sentence.
Some neighborhoods you don't call.
Yeah.
Which
I lived in a crack neighborhood, and I called on the crackheads all the fucking time. And I would go out there and let them know I called on them. I'm like, I don't give a damn. Ow.
Honestly, Maureen, I have my cat and my dog, the 2 lizards and the 2 snakes. And once the dog is gone, there will not be any more dogs because we can't. It's hard for us to go up and down steps to take dogs out.
I won't be able to have another dog either.
Um,
Physical limitations unless I get an older one. And
honestly, I say there won't be any more cats after Sisyphus, but in all reality, cats are my jam. They are my thing. I can't see me ever without a cat. Unless it just honestly gets to the point that I just can't do it. But I won't have more than one because they're too hard to take care of, the litter box issue, etc. So I can't handle more than one at a time.
damn, she caught me right on the crease of my finger.
Uh-huh.
You see that? She
Yep.
made me bleed right in the crease. Where it's guaranteed every time I move my finger, it's going to hurt. Thank you. I can't make this shit up. I'm telling you right now. I will probably always have a cat, but unless I get an older dog or something, there's no way I can. You know what I mean? And it's hard for me because, bye, Darlene. Have a great day.
Take care of yourself, Darlene. Have a good afternoon, dear.
Because I like to train my dogs myself, and if you get an older dog, it's already got, well, hopefully some kind of training. And I just, with physical limitations, I don't know if I could do it, you know? So, but Simmy's only 8, so hopefully we'll have her around for a long time. And I can definitely see myself doing without one of these cats, which I'm going to ship to England because Wendy loves her so much. But no, the cats are only about 2.5, so I'll have them for a while.
Jennifer, I live in a trailer park, honey. We got cats all over the place.
Yeah.
You know that. Because you live up. You live in a trailer park too, right?
Well, I'm not in a trailer park, but I live in Catopia because the little old lady across the street in Overland feeds all the neighborhood cats, and it seriously looks like something out of a Stephen King movie every time she brings food out there. Because
Wendy says her angel kitty.
They come from everywhere, and there are about now there are about 30 of them. There used to be about 20. Now they keep having babies, so yeah, you're angel kitty.
Go here.
We know, honey.
So cats have their own trailers.
It's true, I'm telling you.
Well, only one of these cats was technically mine. Marty was John's cat, but when he died, I kept this cat. I didn't want the cats to be separated, and Issa doesn't know how to take care of an animal at all. So, and Marty hates her, so I wasn't letting her take Marty. So
Okay, now I'm going to interrupt you.
Of course you are.
Talking about Issa and animals. Now you go ahead and talk about Issa and her cat.
Oh, yeah. Issa had a cat named Blackie. Big old fat cat, just laid around the house, didn't give 2 shits, and did not like Issa either. When Issa moved in with her boyfriend, he didn't want to smell the litter box in his condo. So she decided Blackie could live outside, and she put the litter box out on their deck and put the cat outside. The cat was allowed to come inside to eat, and then it went back outside. Issa tried to tell me that the cat would howl and yowl and throw a fit to go back outside. I'm like, that's funny because I lived with that cat for 7 years and it never once tried to go outside. So now the cat's missing. Cat's been missing for about 2 weeks. And she said that she looked everywhere and talked to everybody in the condo, and nobody knows what happened to the cat. She called the animal control. They don't have it. Blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, she never looked for that cat. So her cat's gone. No. And then I asked her how Dodge was doing, which is her dog. And she goes, oh, well, he's depressed. And from what? The cat was always outside. Why would he be depressed? How would he even know the cat's gone? He never saw it anyway. She lies about everything.
Yeah, they worked it all out. I get that, Maureen. And
Yeah.
I can see that, Jennifer. You got vacants on each side of you. The cats will figure it out. They'll get in through the skirting and they will get their way worked in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the 3-hour mark.
Yep.
Don't make me bleed again. Go away. Onyx was like,
Yeah.
well,
we
you
gotta
did.
keep track of your 20 hours. So
Yeah, because I only had the free version now because I had to go without and do without. Because I was apparently funding my son when he wasn't working so that, because of all the wonderful things he does for me. So I had to go without my Netflix for like 3 months. So I had to do without my StreamYard. I wasn't going to pay it last month, but they stole it out of my account I wasn't prepared for that. I forgot all about it actually. And I had to cancel not cancel, but I couldn't pay for my Prime. So yeah, anything I wanted is gone right now. I'll get it back next month. My hand hurts really bad. Yeah, it does. And I deal with it. It's all right. So, but I do have to keep track of my hours, and I'm trying to stay within my 3 hours on my shows. So I am going to end this, and I hope everybody has a really good day. And Rhonda, thank you for bringing Hootie Hoo on my show.
You bet.
And
I'll be
please-
on tomorrow
Yep.
at 12:30 Eastern.
And everybody, please keep Robin in your thoughts.
Yes.
Lots of positive energy Robin's way, because we love Robin.
Damn
And I
right.
don't like it. I don't like it when she doesn't feel good.
See you all tomorrow.
Yep, I will be
And
there.
around the YouTubes.
And everybody behave, and nobody else get sick or hospital or anything else. It's not allowed.